Well, hey everyone, welcome to D&D with Kristi. It is me, Kristi, and this is and my party members, and we're going to be going on some more adventures in our mashup game with Dragon Heist and Acquisitions Incorporated. And our normal wrap-up player, who is playing Clue in our game, isn't here to do it, so we're going to try to, we're going to have to do it maybe as a group. Remind us of what happened in the last session, and then we'll continue on, and hopefully by then our Clue will be rejoining us. So, anyone want to have a go?
Okay, so last session we did a whole lot of individual stuff. Clue returned back to Thelvar's home with Thelvar to find anything relating to the Black Stag. I believe Mara/War went and picked up their book. Hibara went over and had a nice chat with fellow elven botanist across the way from our inn.
Yeah, follow. Follow's their name. Yeah. Just throwing that in. Yeah.
I can't quite remember what Clue did in their downtime.
He went and talked to his contact at the whatchamacallit.
Yes. He went and spoke to his contact and got officially recruited into the Zents. That's correct. And then we went and spoke to the Open Lord, where we were given a shit shoveling task. Well, shit shoveling guard task, more to the point.
Yeah, you don't actually have to shovel the shit yourselves. Yeah, you just have to guard the people who are. Yes, and you also, I think, arranged for like a permanent transportation to help get you around town a bit faster. So you've got a sort of an at-will hire of a rickety, sort of like weathered cart and a horse that's, still walks, but it's not a show horse or a race horse, but it's an it'll-do horse. Also, and I can also update with Clue's character. I mean, there's a lot of you guys are being expected to know things in the game that your characters don't know, and so I just want to there are times where I'll, if something needs to be shared, I just want to make sure people aren't assuming, and I can also talk to Clue about this too, because there's a bunch of stuff that he knows now that you guys don't, and and also everybody kind of like, sometimes you get information and I'm leaving it up to you to reveal it, but on the other hand, I don't want you to just go, oh well, everyone heard that story so they know. And
the one other thing that we did, we went to visit our friends at the farm that supplies luscious bread, and found a temporary home for Dappy, the bronze dragon?
Bress, I think.
Brass
we decided.
dragon.
Yes. Yeah, you guys actually did a lot. Yeah, little baby dragon. Yes. You did a lot. You did quite a lot last time, actually.
I was like, that didn't happen all last week. See, that was my problem. I'm like, that didn't happen last week. That happened the week before. See, this is why I'm not allowed to do the update. I have no idea what day it
is. So the four of you finish up your meeting with the Open Lords, meeting Laurel Silverhand, and also her assistant, who's your sort of proxy for doing work for the Lord's Alliance. And you make your way across town in the cart. Your meeting was at 10 o'clock in the morning. That sounds about right. And are you guys heading then back to the tavern, I assumed, but unless there's someplace else you wanted to go?
I can't think of anywhere. I presume the first day of our new employment starts in the morning.
That's correct, yes. It'll be from tomorrow morning. Bright and early at 6 a.m., which Mara's going to love.
As long as someone provides her with coffee, she'll be fine.
Okay. Gorko stayed back. He's kind of helping the Bobs and doing stuff. So, yeah, you guys make your way across the city of Waterdeep back toward the northward and Trollskull Alley. As you do, the horse is coming through the south entrance and kind of drops you off here and in order to return back. So the four of you are walking from the south entrance, and as you enter into this part of the alley, the street is bustling. It's an ordinary work day in Waterdeep. On the corner, you actually see a group of halflings who are doing, they're busking, doing like a band thing going on with music, and one of them has a cap to, trying to collect some money. People are going back and forth and using the alley. Not a ton of people come into the alley, but it's not untrafficked as well. And so you get back to the tavern, and when you open the door, you can see that Jarvis has arranged for the carpenters to start work, and their first task is going to be taking care of the floor. So you can kind of tell by, I'm not going to make you roll perception for this, but you can tell that the carpenters have been working in sections. One group will kind of go through and sand a bit. Then the bobs are kind of sweeping up all of the sanded bits, and another group of carpenters will sort of like wash it off and prepare it for the lacquering in order to get it to a darker wood, the black goth look that you guys want to go for. And so there's a lot of bustling down in the ground floor level. A lot of different creatures of various backgrounds working as carpenters, doing things, getting the flooring ready. And you can see actually Jarvis has returned from their research. They said they were going to go look into the orrery, if you remember. Last time they were going to be gone in the morning. But they're back now, and both they and Liff are they set up these carafes of water and glasses for the carpenters to drink, make sure they're staying hydrated and things. And you can also see that there is a very intense rivalry of tic-tac-toe being played on the chalkboard between Liff and Jarvis. There's an L and a J. It looks pretty even in terms of the hash marks up there, and lots of tic-tac-toe games being played. So that is what you guys see going on in the ground level when you walk in.
Thelvar takes a nice deep breath, having the weight of the world lifted from his shoulders. Correct.
Yep. The curses, the demon or the whatever the energy of the curses can't cross the threshold. So, so if you guys want to, if you want to talk at all about the job, like one of the things that you could discuss is if you need to get any spell components or like I don't know if anyone has any ranged weapons, but any bows or crossbow bolts, any throwing daggers in preparation of the job you have to do. The contract that Clue looked over, noticed there's that kind of like per diem, and basically all related when they hire people out to be adventurer kind of like consultants on a job like this, they cover spell components or other bits and bobs. So yes, just as an FYI, up to I think I said it was like 8 gold pieces a day, but you have to bring receipts. So that's the one caveat. So the downstairs area is very busy and bustling, and really not a good place for any conversations.
Well, Thelvar's spells don't use spell components, okay. So...
all right, so Jarvis will come up and say, "Oh, welcome back, everyone. It's so good to see you. The information that you wanted me to seek out, I was able to get some. If at some point you want me to update you on what I've learned."
Yes, that would be good, thank you.
So should we maybe talk upstairs?
Indeed. Let's get away from all this bustling noise.
I'll switch over back to the current. Actually, is that the this version of the map because I still haven't uploaded it's not done yet. So this is the plan for your area. And I think you guys had kind of like did you have a common room up here on the second level?
Yes. Yeah. There was a common room.
Right. Jarvis will recommend that the group meet there, away from, like, say, the noise and not to interfere with the workers as they're getting on with their business. Yeah. So, you guys all head upstairs, then I take it? Okay, all right. I'm trying to find. Here we go. Yes. So Jarvis sits. There's enough chairs kind of brought around so that everybody can be sat down in a circle and kind of be comfortable. And Jarvis says that. So I went to our offices and looked through the research archives that we had on file. And I could not find a specific mention of the orrery as the one that you guys brought back. However, there were some leads in there about the sources for the information in the archives in the public library. And so I went to the public library and found what I think is pretty close. I think this is what you found in your when you went to clear out the fissure. It's really more the legend about it and not how it works. So if this is the orrery of the Wanderer, then what the book said was that it was created by a renowned clockwork mage who's only known as Lottie. No last name, no other information. And it goes, according to the legend, that she crafted the relic as a means of tapping into the power of the planes. Her hope was to channel the information to be able to do divination and fortune-telling, or the fortune-telling power of the stars. So to kind of learn more about things and be able to do better divinations. But, according to the legend, she realized that when she used the item, it was far more powerful than she had actually intended it to be. That it wasn't just tapping into the planes and channeling the powers of the stars. In fact, it started to manifest the darkness and the malevolence inherent into some of the planes that are out there. And so she realized she was actually scared of her own creation and realized its power could be used for evil. So she dismantled it. Yes, you were definitely right, Miss Hibara. She dismantled all of the major magical components and scattered them across the world in order to prevent anyone from reassembling them. And that was how the story ended. It was basically a morality tale that's how it was presented in the book, as a legend of having good intentions but ending up creating more chaos and potentially danger than you had originally intended. And that is the legend of the orrery of the Wanderer.
Well, by how late issues of the tale is written, I mean, anything can be used as a tool for evil.
Oh, but that's true, and it does go into the who's doing something with what. But certainly, whatever it was, she was scared of how it worked when it was all put together. Yeah.
So, do we have the all of it, or is it just pieces of it?
Well, based on what I can see from the legend, do you have it with you? Can I have a look at it again?
Yes, it should still be in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go through that again.
You took the corpse out of there, right? Because in a day it is going to vanish. You're just going to everything that's in there is going to drop out.
Yeah, the corpse is...
Okay, has been disposed of properly.
There's only one corpse in there. Only one body, not two, just one.
Well, there was three because there was... We did at least hand over... Because there was the two guards that we found, the one that was cocooned up in the spider cocoon, and then the one that was in the final room.
Oh, she was okay. Teshi lived, if that's who you're thinking about.
No, because there was her as well, and then there was Gorko's friend. So there was the two guards and Gorko's friend.
I only have Gorko's friend's body.
Yeah, we gave the guards to the guards as soon as we got out.
Uh-huh.
We gave the guards to the guards.
The other guard.
And Clue has joined us. Hurrah! Yeah, like arguing over how many bodies you have in your bag of holding is definitely a D&D debate. We've just got the one that we're storing in our bag of holding. Thank you very much.
No, that was one of the comments R&D sent me. He was just like, your company is really obsessed with dead bodies. I'm like, I only have one!
It's just the one! It's not multiple.
There's only one dead body. There's not multiple.
Also, a quick reminder to, take that body out of there tomorrow or it disappears forever.
Oh no, it's worse than that.
It doesn't.
Everything drops out of it. You're right in the middle of dinner, and then suddenly there's boom, a whole pile of things, including like a corpse.
Oh god! All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to bury this body. So Mara opens the bag. Oh. So yeah, we need to go to a cemetery, guys. He's getting kind of ripe in here.
By my home.
Technically, he is carrion, so we could use him tomorrow.
Kind of like reverse grave digging.
Mara just kind of looks at the body and goes, if I could lift you by myself, I would throw you at Clue. Dead body. No.
I mean, you're the most likely to be able to lift it.
He was a dwarf.
You weren't here for the shit I went through this morning. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, I suppose it would be a good idea to arrange for an undertaker to come and claim the body ready for... I'm sure we could stretch to putting on a small funeral so Gorko can say goodbye to their beloved friend.
Yes. Also, again, he is very right. This bag is... It holds the thing in, so the second I open it, it goes...
Jarvis pipes up and says, I think I know someone who, for a very nominal fee, is willing to do a... what is the one for preserving the dead? It was at the tip of my tongue. A quiet repose. A quiet repose spell that will delay anything further for a week.
Oh, very good.
You.
Okay, yes, I'll make those arrangements right after this meeting.
Here it is. And then she pulls out the augury or augury.
It's called an orrery, which is something I'd never heard of before this. But yes, it's called an orrery. Right, and so at this point, the orrery is pretty much. It looks like there's no damage on it. You guys can't see any place where it's cracked or broken or shattered or bent. It seems to have completely fixed itself. And I think I showed you a bit of a picture of it. I hope I didn't show you too much, because sometimes it's difficult for me to know. Sometimes it gives me like, show to players this picture, and other times it doesn't. So as long as you guys don't scroll down, I'll show it to you, and then I'll unshow it to you. So this is what it looks like. And so what it doesn't have are the little, like, silver, the red bit, the green bit. There are parts of it that are obviously have, like, gaps in it. But the basic mechanism is there. And from that, you can... Jarvis says, I don't think this is an astrological clock. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Because of the legend, it might have something to do with the planes, but that's not really my field of expertise. Okay, so no more seeing. Gone. And other than it not being an astrological or astronomical clock or orrery, works, I can't really tell what it's meant to do. But it does seem to have these gaps here and these little bits of it that I think if you kind of, Jarvis looks at it and sort of counts it up and says, I think there's maybe 6 pieces missing to this.
Must keep an eye out for them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if there's nothing else...
Keep an eye out for the pieces we took.
If there's nothing else, I can go make arrangements with a cleric on performing the quiet repose, and maybe we can keep him in the cellar where it's a bit cooler until the ceremony is ready as well.
Yes, that would
please.
be very good. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So Jarvis sort of like smiles to you and takes their leave of you and heads down back to the ground floor, leaving you to you're having up on the second floor of the building.
Well, I suppose I should let you all know that I have gone through the letters that were myself and Clue found at my residence, and I do have a few ideas of what is going on with my curse. It seems that my great-great-grandfather, or whatever he is, seemed to have had some sort of run-in with some woman who turned out to be a high priest of Beshaba, which is very worrying.
Clue is trying to look very shocked right now.
Okay. Does anyone want to roll religion to see if you guys recognize who Beshaba is? Anyone else?
I mean, do I need to roll religion for that?
No, you don't have to, but maybe Habara and...
Oh, that was unexpected.
Oh, well, Thelvar, okay. Hibara, you know that Beshaba is known as like the goddess of misfortune. She is basically she's an evil goddess. It's about misery, misfortune, and bad happenings, and people worship her to avoid them. If you worship Beshaba, it's a lot of rogues, assassins, other sort of underworld types tend to follow her, and because she can, like with curses, you can try to cause misery to your nice roll, Mara, cause misery to your enemies, and also you want to protect yourself from bad luck.
What's her symbol?
Now that you guys say that, you remember that the symbol that for Beshaba is a black antlered sort of stag-looking animal. Oh, it's not black antlered, but it's antlers and a stag, and it's all sort of like against a red background, and it's like in black. So I think I can find the exact description.
The deer.
Indeed, it seems that last night I also had a dream that featured that symbol. I didn't realize what it meant at the time, but yes, it's very concerning now.
So we need to find this priestess.
Indeed,
And kill her.
or something like that.
Why did I know you were gonna say? Why did I know you were gonna say unalive her? How did I know?
Well, think of it this way. We could either just burn Thelvar, and then his curse is gone, or
We are not
we
burning.
could burn her, and then that gets rid of Thelvar's curse, and who knows how many other people she's cursed at this point.
I mean, definitely prefer the plan of burning Thelvar, but the Nails of the Lady isn't the kind of woman you can just stroll up on and put on fire.
I don't know about that. If someone's flammable, they're flammable.
You're just mad because you're not flammable.
Well, I mean, I kind of am.
No, not you.
I'm less flammable, but that's never been like a problem. Never really wanted to be on fire. I mean, very.
I don't want you to be on fire.
But yes, after all this time, if this Sultanara is still alive, she must be of a fair age by now.
Unless she's immortal.
I mean,
Yes, that could be a problem.
Clue, do you have something to say? You seem a little sus.
I'm just. I'm always sus, so that's not special.
More than normal. How about that?
Wait, do we even know who she is?
The one that cursed Salva's great granddad, or the current nails of the lady?
Is there a difference?
It's a provision. It tends to move between people. It's how that kind of stuff works.
Are you sure?
And I don't have an active list
Very sure.
that you know of.
I can't do this anymore. I'm losing it. I don't have the brain cells.
Well, let's move on then.
Did your grandfather's letters say a name?
Yes, I just said it. Sultanata.
Oh. Well.
I can send. I can send out some feelers. Maybe see if any of my contacts know anything.
Yes, that would be a very helpful clue.
Problem.
It also would be good to find out if she's not like a vampire, a lich, or some other obnoxiously immortal thing.
Indeed.
I guess.
Okay. Is there anything I don't want to interrupt before you? Is anyone saying what they want to say? Everyone communicated? Anything else before?
Can I roll perception on Clue?
Yeah.
Because he's being sus.
Yeah, go ahead.
That would be insight because you're
Yeah.
trying to calm.
Yeah, insight,
trying to glean
fine.
some.
Calling him out on his bullshit.
Okay, yeah, you can.
Fuck.
Not today.
Well, is Clue being any more cagey than Clue usually is? You can't tell.
God damn it.
Oh.
Mar just glares at him and goes. Just growls at him.
Yes. Yes, the full name was Sultanata Zakhaven, I believe. She apparently owned a business selling religious images, symbols, and spell components.
Interesting.
Maybe we could go buy some spell components with our new job's money, and we can get some answers for you.
Do we need spell components? Do we know where we can get the information we need?
No, well.
Clue has a meeting. He has a ring with his name on it. So,
No sé nada.
If we're done here, I'm just gonna go and pick that one up.
Oh yeah, by the way, before you were able to join, I was saying that a lot of people are doing kind of like metagaming in that, like they heard your conversation with Davil, but they don't know anything about it. So you mentioning the ring with your name on it is like the first they've heard of it.
I know that.
Okay.
To be honest, he's not gonna. He generally doesn't try to make sense. It happens on occasion, but it's not his point.
Okay, right. It's really hard to deliver narrative through you guys sometimes.
We never promised that this was going to be easy.
No, I should have asked. No, it's fine. It's fine. So while you guys are finishing up, Gorko comes upstairs with fresh coffee for everyone and says, Jarvis told me to say there's a guest for you downstairs or waiting if you want to send him up. Some never remember or never some guy?
Never remember. Yes, just send him up, please.
Okay. So he gives Mara a hug and then runs back downstairs. And in a...
And sweetie, don't ever call him never remember.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Don't call him that.
Okay. He goes downstairs. And yeah, you hear...
I'm going to be calling him that for the rest of his life. I'm that asshole.
Yeah, so after a few minutes you hear the creaking coming up the stairs, and entering into the room is the person you rescued first, one of your earlier adventures, Rainier Never Ember. He's looking well, he's just very sort of gracefully dressed and all that stuff. Says, hello, my friends. It was so good to see you. I'd heard about a rumor about a haunted tavern, and lo and behold, it was you. I thought it might have been the Trollskull Alley property that you had been given by Flume, and I thought it a good time to stop by and see how you were doing.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Yes, things are coming along nicely.
Oh, I can see. You've got a lot of busy people downstairs.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, well, when you open, I will definitely be here, and I'll bring some of my friends along as well. That's the least I can do after you saved my life.
Oh, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Now, I have to admit, there's another reason for my visit. You guys wouldn't by chance happen to have received a visit from a gnome in the last days with a package to maybe take to my father?
A gnome? Did we receive a message from a gnome?
Not that I remember, and I would remember somebody telling me to bring something up to a disgraced open lord.
Okay.
Very specific request.
Well,
I mean, I never remember, so
all right. Well, it was a kind of a long shot anyway. Let me give you a little bit of background. So when the Lords of Waterdeep ousted my father, I thought that his long dark shadow had finally gone for good from my life, and as you guys know, I don't want anything to do with him. But just because he's not in Waterdeep doesn't mean he's not trying to keep tabs on me. He sends his spies to watch my moves, see where I go in public, and normally they're just old house servants or people that used to work for us that I recognize. In fact, I've actually made a game of it. I have a diary of how many of his spies I've found in the tea room where I'm having, meeting friends for a bit of tea, or in the market, and I've spotted them. But one of them is a gnome called Dalakar. Dalakar is not a very good spy, and he's been watching me for months. But ever since I was kidnapped, I've not seen him. He's really nowhere to be seen, and I normally see him every other day. Like I said, he's a terrible spy. My father didn't trust many people, but he did trust that gnome. So I decided to do a bit of detective work myself in the last couple of days. I've tracked down some of his friends. I think he might have gotten himself into more trouble than he can handle. Apparently, he's been given a special mission by my father to retrieve the Stone of Galore. And that was the thing that the Zentarum and Xanthar guilds were trying to... it's a key to the treasure that my father has that they were trying to get out of me. And I think that maybe members of the Zents or the Xanathar guild might have gotten a hold of him, because when his friends said that when he'd heard of my kidnapping, he wanted more information on you. He wanted more information on the adventurers who'd saved me. And, well, I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I think it might be possible that Delacar was actually planning to pay you a visit and ask you to take this Stone of Galore to my father in Neverwinter. I'd hoped that maybe he'd stopped by already, but apparently he's either not made it or I've guessed wrong.
Yes, that is concerning.
And you say that the Zents might have caused this?
Well, you remember that I was initially kidnapped by Zentarims, and then the Xanathar Guild raided the place, took me took Flume, mistaking him for me. So, I mean, I'm not really connected with the underworld or their dramas or their current gang violence, but it seems like they're fighting over information and ways to get to this money that my father embezzled and is hidden somewhere in the city.
That is, in fact, correct.
Yeah, I know, I have good information. But,
About this clue?
I mean, it's it's also an internal conflict within the Zens, unfortunately. Rogue
Fair
faction.
enough.
yeah, I have to
Rogue
say,
factions can be a problem sometimes.
Especially.
Yes, I've heard that the name Erstal Floxam come up in association with some of the violence that's been happening in the streets. If he does come to you, it's extremely important that you don't take the Stone of Galore back to my father. He will merely use it to open up wherever he's hidden the money. The stone, I think, is somehow connected to it, and you need the stone to be able to access the location to get to it. And so if he's working for my father will do nothing good with the hundreds of thousands of dragons that he's hidden away after stealing it from the people of Waterdeep.
Hundreds of thousands of dragons?
Oh my.
Oh.
The stupid coins, Thelvar, not real ones.
Yes. How utterly stupid of me. Yes.
Hence Dragon Heist.
I mean, in Waterdeep, you can do more with those dragons than with the alive kind.
I'm sorry, I spent too many years off in Neverwinter. They don't use that terminology there. I sometimes forget.
Don't let the baby hear you say that, Clue.
He knows he can't enter the city. It's just the way it is.
Ixnay on Enters Day.
He's not, or she's not here. She can't be. She can't enter the city.
Yes, but never remember. Doesn't need to know we have a friend that can't enter the city.
Renee is just watching. Renee is just watching this conversation. Like, you know, I'm here, right?
So Ixnay on Baby's Day.
I want to brought her up.
I'm sad to say that Renier probably knows Pig Elvish.
If you learned Infernal, we would not have this issue.
Actually, Renier starts to laugh at this point. All of a sudden, I want everyone to do me a dex saving throw.
A dex saving throw?
Those are not fucking roll it too.
God.
All right. So as you guys are talking about this back and forth, there is a massive explosion that you hear. It's so massive that it actually shakes the building. Let's see. Clue actually gets sort of like knocked out of your seat. Everyone else, Thelvar, you get slightly blown aside. From the startling part of it. Both Mara and Habara are okay. Actually, Habara just like, oh, what was that? Like everyone else is like ducking to go under the table, and Hibara is just like wah, just walking through, like a forest. Oh, massive explosions! That happens. What are you guys, surprised at that? Rennie too just sort of like leaps out of his chair.
Is that unusual for cities?
Thelvar sees Hibara just stood there nonchalantly. Hibara, what did you do?
I like how Delvar is blaming Hibara, and Mara looks at Clue and goes, "What did you do?"
I did nothing. Okay, I haven't even used my level 3 spell yet.
Liar.
It came from not the front part of the building where the main streets are. It came from the alley area you share with the Fala's business, and the area actually you walked through to get to the tavern earlier today. I can actually put you guys back on that map. So, but you're still in the house at this point. But the sound came
from down here somewhere.
Yes, correct. Came from behind you, like where you are on the second floor. Yeah, kind of like. Yeah, so big massive explosion just happened in your backyard.
Guess I'm running towards it because that's a smart thing to do.
Thelvar is also joining you because, yes, it did sound as if it came from the direction of one of our friends' shops.
Yes.
I mean, everyone else is running. Might as well casually walk after them.
All right. So you guys descend to the ground level. The workers have all sort of they're sort of like crowded around the doors, but they've not actually gone outside. They're quite frightened, and you can now start to hear screams coming from the back of the building, or the alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
Guess
Thelvar pushes his... You go.
Yeah, I guess we'll just walk through a window to see what's going on outside.
Yeah. Okay. So as you look out the window, you can see black smoke billowing from some source that you can't identify yet, and you can hear more people shouting and screaming.
Yeah, Thelvar just heads straight out and towards the alleyway.
Okay, so as you run out into the alleyway, by the way, do you go out the front door, which I believe is here, or the pantry door, which I think is on the other side of the building?
We'll go out the front door because I'm not sure what's going to meet out here.
Yes. All right. So, by the way, yeah, Hibara and Mara, what are you two doing?
Mara goes out the front, goes down towards the front to check on to make sure that Goku is okay.
Yeah, he's
before going out the front door.
Yeah, so Gorko was making more coffee in the kitchen, and Jarvis was there, and he's now kind of hanging out by Jarvis, not quite sure what to do. He's kind of looking at you, and he starts to make the move to follow you out, because if you're heading outside, he's gonna follow you.
Mara doesn't make a move to stop him. She's just like, okay, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, so he's tagging along behind you. Yeah, Hibara.
She's just following Thelvar.
Okay, all right. So everyone goes into the alleyway. What you see when you come into the back is so the actual area of destruction. As you walk out, it's kind of around the corner. You can see smoke billowing from around this corner. Can you guys? I guess you've got your icons there, right? Can you guys place yourselves in terms of where you are in the alley?
I mean, Trollskull is decent.
Yep. Mara? Yep. Okay. Right. So Thelvar, as you guys get past this corner and you get a better, clear view of the whole thing, you see several figures that are humanoid, various creatures in this area. You can't quite see into this part of the alley, but you can see that there are there's one woman who's kind of like getting herself up. She's coming out of this part. She's coming out of the back of the private eye area and looks like she's been knocked down. She's sort of getting herself back up. You see that Fala has. Oh, yeah. Did someone say something?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Fala is actually in the street already. She is also kind of picking herself up, but she doesn't look like this woman. Looks like the woman who's here, the human woman who's here, looks like she got knocked back. She looks stunned. Fala looks alert and alarmed, but she doesn't look in any way injured. You also see about here, there's a little boy who is crouching behind a barrel to catch rain. And his arms are wet, and he's sort of like curled up. It looks like he's holding some sort of like something close to him and kind of rocking and comforting, like trying to self-comfort. And you also see that's it. Those are the only people who are moving. The other humanoid figures that you can see so far are all they're closer to the alley itself, and none of them are moving.
Okay, Thalvar will dash to the little boy, speaking to him comfortingly when he gets there, saying, "Come with me, child. I will make sure you're safe." And he kind of scoops him up and dashes back towards Fala, saying, Fala, I hope you're okay, but can you take the boy inside and keep him safe?
Yes. So she takes him, sort of comforts him. They take him and comfort him, and brings him back into the building. But you notice? Can you do it? Well, sorry, you should roll. Can you roll perception for me?
Yep. Perception.
As long as it's a 10. Cool. Yeah. You notice though, although Fala looks all right, they do have they're bleeding on their hand, and their clothes are dirty on one side. But it just seems to be on one side where they've received some damage. Right. Yes. Okay. So
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Mara steps in and takes Sala and the boy and goes, "Come this way, Goku, sweetie. I want you to go ahead and you're going to watch the boy."
Okay.
And Sala, I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can actually heal her. If I can heal her, I'm going to try healing.
Go ahead.
For the first time, let's see if I can do it. All right. Oh, can I do it while I'm not? Oh, I don't think I could do it if I'm not in
combat.
In combat.
What is the thing you want to cast?
It's Hands of Healing, but it's as an action.
I mean,
so I don't think
you can do it.
Yeah, paladins have they can lay on hands and they just take some hit points and they can transfer them, and there's an action at any time. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, an action is basically, it just means it takes 6 seconds to do.
Equal to the roll of your martial arts die and wisdom modifier. When you use Fury of Blows, you can replace one. Okay, cool. So basically it's I use 1 key point.
Okay.
Touch a creature and restore a number of hit points equal to a roll of my martial arts die plus my wisdom modifier.
Okay. Yep. What's your martial arts die? Is it a D6 or a D8 or something?
I don't. Oh.
Well, should we call it a D6 for right now and look it up later?
Yeah.
So we know for
let's
next time.
call it a D6.
Okay. Cool. And what's your wisdom score?
My wisdom modifier is 2.
Okay. So whatever you roll, D6 plus 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a D6 roll. . Ooh, nice. Right, well, you gave them a little lift. Yeah, so you guys see Mara, her eyes, she suddenly becomes very still and quiet and very centered. And you can just sort of feel a change in the energy around her. And as she's holding Fala's hand, their hand, which has been, gashed up because of the cobblestones and the very, the roughness, you can see that the bleeding, which had been dripping down their arm, slowly stops. And even though the blood is still there, you can tell that it's covering over a completely healed wound. And Fala looks at you and sort of puts a hand on your shoulder and gives you a warm smile and says, "You are a very kind soul. May the blessings of the gods go with you."
Thank you so much. No, make sure that the children are both okay.
So, Fala will point Gorko into the house and say, "Please take him inside," and turns to you guys and says, "I'd like to check on help you with any other injured people if your friend can look after the boy."
Yes.
Yes.
The boy will be in his charge.
Okay. Yeah, so Fala will, and Renier's also behind you, I should say. He joined in. So both of them actually will now kind of will come with you with whatever you want to do.
Awesome.
Okay, in that case, Clue is gonna run towards people who aren't moving and is gonna try and cast Spare the Dying on them.
Okay. So the first, so what you find is when you, can you move up to where you are gonna move so I can just see what you can see?
Where are the
So they're mostly in this
that
part of it, mostly this part of the alley. You can see that actually as you approach, most of the smoke is coming from like burning leaves and a wheelbarrow that was on fire. It's not close enough to start any houses, and no houses are burning. But there are scorch marks and there is smoke coming from. Right, so yes. So sorry, did someone say? Okay. The first person you come across is an elderly human female, and you can do a medicine check if you want on her first. This is not a high roll. She's gone.
Damn it.
You can while you're tending to her. By the way, let's. I don't want to roll initiative, but let's do some turn taking because obviously it'll take you a little while to like go to her and check her out and do everything. So why don't we call that your turn? And let's see. So Thelvar's gone, Mara's gone, and Clue's gone. So it's Hibara's turn.
You mentioned that there's fires going on, right?
Correct. Yep. There are like small fires of leaves that have been obliterated they're burning.
Okay, we're just gonna put out the fires.
Okay.
With casting control flames.
Yeah, excellent. You can use your turn to make sure. Like the wheelbarrow is the thing that's the most. It's closer to the edge of the alley here, and it is like the front part of it is really raging fire, and that's probably the biggest one. The leaf fires are mostly on the ground, on the stone and pavement and stuff around in the courtyard. So I would say, in terms of what you wanted to control, the biggest fire would be the wheelbarrow that's smoking and on fire.
Yep. Well, it's no longer out of it's
okay.
Gone. It's extinguished.
Okay. All right. And then you can move on to the smaller leaf fires and various things around. While you guys are doing this, you can hear now whistles being blown. You think that you can hear more people calling and other noises in the streets. So yes, okay, so that is your action. I think then we're back to Thelvar.
Well, Clue appears to be taking care of the people that seem to be not moving around this area, and as Thelvar doesn't know any healing, he's gonna basically dash towards the woman that was coming out of this house. I don't get to her.
Sure. Yeah.
Are you okay, miss?
She's sort of so she's a very well-dressed lady, middle-aged woman. You can kind of tell that she's upper class. And you can do me a quick insight check. Again, it's gonna be a basic roll, like a 10, for you to make this insight. Oh no, you have no idea why she's here. You have no idea why she would be, like near the private eye. None. So she's a little bit dizzy. She sort of sat a little bit stunned when you come up. She looks at you and she says, "It wasn't a man. It wasn't a man. It wasn't a man I saw." And she's kind of a little bit out of it.
Wasn't a man. Then what was it?
It was like a puppet, but it was a man-sized puppet. It was on the rooftops. I saw it hurl something onto the crowd below, and then I saw the explosion, and I think those halflings. I think the puppet man killed the halflings at the end of the alley. She starts to get a little bit upset.
Don't you worry about it. We will figure this out. He helps her off the ground and starts moving her back towards Fala. Take her back to the house.
Okay, all right. Then that will be your turn.
Yep.
Okay. So then after that was Mara, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So Mara is checking on more injured.
Okay.
But
then,
she can. She's limited in how many times she can use that healing hands. The healing hands. So, but she's going ahead. She can go because of her path. She can check medicine, so she can check to see where they are.
Yeah, sure. So in order, you have to get basically closer to the alley.
Yeah,
that's all right. So I'm gonna move you.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Yeah. So as you enter the alleyway, you can see that it's just been the sides of the walls are just completely charred. Whatever this explosion was, it was a fire explosion, and you can see a cluster of actually like three. Not you, Alexa. My Alexa, what's going on? You see.
Hey, Alexa.
No, I know. So
I'm not talking to you. My Alexa just went off.
Oh. You see two cloaked human males. They're wearing like dark cloaks, and one of them has got its hand around the ankle of another little creature that is on the ground, which you identify as a gnome.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, stop! What are you doing?
Do you want to do a medicine check?
Yes, let's do a medicine check.
It's going to be a 5 to figure this out.
They are very dead.
Really?
They're so dead. Yeah. Actually, I like from surveying what's in the alley, you don't notice other than like you can hear the crackling of fires, you hear Hibara putting them out. You can hear people in the south entrance in the street screaming, but nobody in this alley is moving. Nobody is moving.
But what about the two douchebags with the gnome?
Yeah, it was like a death grasp. Or they had gotten him, and then you can do an investigation if you want to try to see if you can figure out.
Are they still there?
Yes, they're there and they're dead.
Yep.
They're both dead.
Yes.
They were in the process of grabbing the gnome when the explosion happened.
Okay, cool. I thought that they were alive.
Nope.
So I thought, nope. Okay, cool. Now I understand.
Yeah, no worries.
Never mind.
So there's still 2 or 5 more figures in strewn across the alleyway.
All right. So I'm gonna go. Do you want me to? I can continue. So everybody in the alleyway are dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, just not pretty much. Yes.
And we have a peenie in the YouTube chat.
Oh, from
what?
Kev. Kev stopped by to type penis in the chat.
Uh-huh.
Hi,
With
Kev.
the S.
Just peenie. Sorry. There's two more figures.
Do I need to cast medicine again, or does my 24 cover
Your
it?
24 will cover it. Actually, you can see as you come forward the people who were playing the music earlier on the corner when you came through, and that you saw as you were entering the back of the alley. They're all face down, and charred. 2 female halflings and 2 male halflings are all face down.
Well, this is a pointless. Mara just sits, standing there talking to herself. Well, this was a pointless waste of life. Well, I know. So what are you going to do about it, child? The same thing we always do. We fight. And Mara goes back to find the rest of her party.
Okay. Are you going to tell them what you found, or are you just?
Yes.
Okay.
Mara doesn't keep. Are you kidding? Mara doesn't keep secrets.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, Thelvar was like helping the woman across the alleyway. So I'm going to say that. I mean, for you to walk over and kind of survey the damage and have the conversation and walk back will take about as much time as it takes for Thelvar to usher. What's her name? Jerazine Hornraven over to Fala's shop.
Okay.
All right. So that is Mara. Who was next? Hibara? Or Clue.
Hibara or Clue.
So
Or maybe it was.
I mean, she's just putting out any of the fires.
Okay.
So I guess also the corpses, if they are on fire still.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You can, if they're smoldering and whatever. Yeah. You can do that as well. Yeah.
No longer fires.
Okay. Clue. How about you?
he's
Mars
gonna
told
go
you that
down
there's
the
there's a gnome and there's a gnome in the alley. So
He's gonna go down the alley and just investigate the site, trying to figure out what it is, where it was coming from, and who it killed.
okay. Well, it killed everybody. You don't have to roll for that. But in terms of investigation, are you investigating the cause of the fire, or are you investigating the people that were killed, or can you? I just need you to be specific because it depends on what check you'll do.
He's gonna be investigating. Well, let's start by investigating the people or the
Okay.
corpses.
Do you want to start with the gnome, or do you want to start with the 2 humans?
With gnome.
Okay. So you can see that the gnome is wearing Habar has put his cloak out, so the cloak is no longer on fire. And the gnome is clutching a dagger.
So pick a dagger up and look at it.
Also, I should say that you also notice that there is a caked up powder on the gnome's boots that you recognize from when you guys went down in the sewers. You had the same kind of caked up crap on your boots when you guys came up from rescuing Flume. And also you see that he's got a patch. When you go down to pick up the dagger, you notice that he's also got a pouch on his waist.
Guess I'm searching the pouch as well.
As you do, Renier comes up behind you, and he takes in a very startled, deep breath, and says, "Oh God, no! Oh, this is the gnome I was telling you about. This is the very bad spy that my dad's sent. I'm trying to find his name. His page is on a different page. This is Dalakar. This was Dalakar. He was coming up the alley. Maybe he was coming to see you. Maybe I just beat him to you. You know, I got there before he did. Oh God!" And he sort of like gets a bit pale and walks off, goes around the corner. All right. So yes, and then you also wanted to check the 2 humans. Yes. Okay. And so when you investigate their body, and I'll just let you do it on that same roll, you see that they are Right. The one dead human male who's reaching out to grab the gnome's ankle has a black winged snake tattoo on his right forearm. Do you need to roll insight for that?
I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that's his interim sign.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Well, guess which faction that guy is from.
So as you guys know, like the fires have been put out. People are now starting to actually come and gawk, and you know, so there was a while where there were no people, but now you're starting to see more people as the smoke has stopped venture in, and they're screaming over the dead halflings, and they're calling for the police, the city watch, I should say. So yeah, it's starting to get a little more busy, and you can hear more people saying, "Someone get the city watch or city guard. Someone get the city guard."
Well, as Thelvar was on his way towards Fala, he would have come close by to Hibara putting out fires and would have called to her, saying, "Hibara, warn the others, it was an attack." And then continues.
Well, yeah, it was an attack.
They might not all be around.
Load. Oh, okay. Should go up to Clue then and say, "Hey, Thelvar said that the person who exploded all these people is probably nearby."
Okay. Don't know exactly what to do with that information, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know.
Why is it that I whenever sorry,
Be
go
on
ahead.
your guard.
Yeah.
You're the one who always goes after the baddie. Go find the baddie.
When I can see them and run after them, just vaguely around isn't a lot of information to go off of.
Yeah, just go run around. Just go run around. See if you can find them that way. Go, shoo. Be gone with you.
Why is it whenever Hibara talks, I always assume she's kind of got like one hand on her hip and her hip like cocked out? Like this is the attitude I get.
Oh my god, now I'm picturing like I know that Hibara probably doesn't look like this, but I'm picturing like Medea.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Like Tyler Perry's Medea?
Yes, Tyler Perry's
Okay.
Medea. Like that attitude.
Because that could have gone one of two ways. It was either Tyler Perry's Medea or like Greek Medea. And I was like, which one are you going for here?
Tyler Perry's Medea. Like, child, you badmouth me. I'm gonna go to jail again.
Yeah, kind of, I can see that.
I feel like that's Hibara because like the hand on the hip. I'm like, I don't see a lot of women normally like do that except for really angry black women, especially with like the cock in the hip.
Mm-hmm.
And R&D could definitely attest to this. I've done it at least once or twice while talking to him. But anyway,
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just got distracted because I realized I need to come up with something to say after this.
I mean, definitely for the I don't know. Definitely that definitely checks out. That tracks.
So
So Thelvar, you said it was an attack. Hibara's like, yeah, and oh wait, so...
People don't normally burst into flames.
yeah, let's assume Fala come towards Thelvar to take the woman off him, so Thelvar can join the others.
Okay, yeah. Escorts the lady back to her. Their greenhouse. Their shop through the back door. So yes, you meet the rest of the party, and in the alleyway, you're starting to see more gawkers. You're now seeing the scorching up the wall. You're seeing the various victims of the attack. And you're starting to also hear, they're coming, the watch is here, the watch is here.
Yeah, Thelvar reaches the others. They were on the roof, apparently. The woman described it as some sort of animated puppet, but she was rather confused, so it could be anyone. There would definitely seem to be attacking someone down here in the alleyway. Oh, spotting the gnome on the ground and glances to Renier and sees the look on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Renier, I'm so sorry. Is this your gnome friend?
Yes. Apparently I got there before he did, and maybe if he'd only been 5 minutes earlier, he'd still be alive. Silly old chap. He's not a bad person. He's just a bad spy.
Mm.
Can I have Clue and Thalvar roll Arcana checks for me?
Arcana.
Oh, wow. Yes, 13 makes it. Just on the nose. Okay. Clue?
I mean, I rolled a 9, so I assume.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't see your roll. I'm sorry, because you had 2 in a row. Yeah, so Thalvar, when you now have entered the alleyway, you recognize this charring. This was a fireball spell. This was definitely a fireball spell.
Yeah, Thalvar glances around. Oh dear. Well, whoever was responsible for this, either they're a powerful caster or they have some sort of artifact, because yes, this was definitely a fireball attack. We need to be wary.
You start to hear, all right, out the way. And around the corner, you recognize Captain Eustace Staggs from when you guys met him during the interview a couple days ago now. He's arriving with a couple of, like about 6 more guards, city guards with him. Like, all right, this is, we're going to cordon off this area. And he sees you guys. Went, oh, you lot. All right, well, hang back there. I want to talk to you, but we've got to clear this area. We're going to cordon this area off. There's been an attack. This is now a crime scene area. Yeah, and I'm just going to need you to just move back a bit, all right? Just move back. And the city guards that are with him kind of like start blocking off the entrance here and kind of pushing back the gawkers, escorting people out. And Eustace sort of walks his way around the victims and says, right, you guys, we're going to be bringing in one of the order of the watchful order of the Magists and protectors here. So I'm going to need you to stay. We're going to be interviewing all the witnesses. But I am going to need you to move out of the way. You can see Ibarra is like doing the last of the fires with the
Control fire.
Yes, and he's like, "Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Help us preserve evidence and everything. But once you finish with the fires, can you guys please back up? Because again, this alley and this whole area is going to need to be cordoned off so we can do an investigation."
Yes, of course, Staggs. We didn't exactly witness much, but we do have some information that could be useful. Right.
So, where you guys go at this tavern? I heard you had started a business. Is that?
Yes. We're at Trollskull Alley there, which we will be opening up as the old haunt in a few weeks. I hope you will join us.
Right. Well, I like a pint myself, so yeah, I'll stop in. But yeah, for the moment, if you can just back up, I'll meet you. It'll take a little while for whoever the specialist is, but please don't go anywhere. Stay in your building, and we'll come by. We'll bring an officer to take a statement shortly. All right.
Okie dokie. Start heading back. Thor will go to Fowler's, pop his head in, and let her know what's going on.
Fowler actually waves you in. They don't say anything. They give you a very serious look and wave you into the building.
Okie dokie.
Mara is like actively glaring at the guards and just looking at them and just going, We did all the shit. Where were you? Nowhere. Now you're just like actively just wanting to start a fight.
Calm down, Mara. We need their help if we want to get anywhere with this.
But they did nothing, and now they.
They'll start
just
their
like-
own investigation soon enough.
Yeah. And so, Clue, do you also head over to Fala's shop through the back door?
I mean, if that's where everybody else is going.
Okay. Hibara, do you want to join them when you're done with the fire, or are you pretty
Oh
much
no,
done?
she just followed Thelvar.
Okay.
Like as he was leaving, she was just like, "Okay, I'm done."
It's Mara that's still at the alleyway.
Yeah.
Oh, Mara.
That's all. We're all just kind of doing that, except for like Mara's like actively trying to start a fight as she's backing up, like walking backwards, yelling at the yelling at the popo. Just like, come at me, bro. Let's see you start a fight with me. I want to like kill something right now.
All right. So when you guys get all into the shop, Fala shuts the door behind them, and says, "Yeah,
Is something wrong, Fala?
I think you need to talk to these two a little bit more, especially the young boy. And I actually want to tell you what I saw, what happened as well. This is not normally what happens in Trollskull Alley."
Well, I should hope.
This is particularly what happens anywhere. This was a serious magic attack.
Yes. Oh, Renier is also with you, by the way.
Mhm.
He saw the sergeant, and they sort of like waved at each other. So, okay, yeah. So, the boy is sat next to Gorko. They're both basically just on chairs, kind of kicking their legs. The boy is just looking down. He's kind of got this bauble in his hand, and he just sort of like is turning it over and over and looking down. And Gorko is basically mirroring his behavior. Like he's just sitting and doing kind of the same thing and looking up, but he's not pressing the boy in any way. He's just sort of sitting with him. The woman, Miss Hornraven, Fala has provided with some tea, chamomile tea, and her hands are shaking, but she seems less dazed than when you first saw her. And of course, yeah, Fala is there too. What do you guys like to do?
Mara walks up to the boys. Of course, that's her first thing.
Thelvar would have assumed Mara would do that. Thelvar will go to the lady. At least he can speak on her level.
Okay. Yes. So should we do Mara first?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just looking at the ground and sort of kicking his feet. He's you can see that he's tearing up and just looking down, and when you approach him, he doesn't even look up.
Tell me, child, where's your parents?
They live in the trades ward, but I was out with my cousins today. They said they would take me out and let them watch them as they made some money while they played music and danced.
Oops.
But I left. I got bored. I mean, I can only watch for so long, and I was playing in the alleyway. I was playing hopscotch in the alleyway, and that's when it happened.
Well, you're safe now. Do you remember seeing anything? Anything at all?
Well, right after the explosion, I ducked behind the rain barrel, and then I heard a plop. And after a little while, when it quieted down, I looked in the barrel, and I found this. And he opens up his hands, and he produces what you can see is like a necklace with a broken clasp and 2 red beads with shimmering sort of sparkles inside of them.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
Not gonna metagame. Not gonna metagame.
I don't know what it is, so I fished it out.
Well, that was very smart of you. It's very pretty.
I think it came from above. I think it must have come from the roof.
From the roof, you say?
Yeah, there wasn't anyone around me, and when I heard the plop, it went into the water and it made a splash. So I think it came from above.
Do you mind if I let one of my friends who knows magic take a look at it?
Yeah. He hands it over to
Okay.
you.
Right, and then I hand it off to her.
Thelvar or who? Anyone?
Thelvar.
Yep.
Thelvar.
Mara, comes over with this bauble. 2 baubles.
Do you mind taking a look at this for me, please?
Yes, of course. One moment, my lady.
Yeah, do you want to do an Arcana check? It's a pretty basic check. Yeah, by 1. It's a necklace of fireballs. It's got 2 boar beads on it. Yep.
I've had run-ins with necklaces of fireballs before. That's why I was not metagaming until I made the made the check. Oh, hi. Yes, I will take care of this. This is a very dangerous artifact. I will keep it safe, don't you worry.
Oh.
But I think we now know the source of the explosion. That makes our foe a lot less scary now.
All right. Well, let me get back to the children. And then Mara walks back over.
Okay.
So, little one, can you tell me your name?
My name is Martin Trek.
Martin Trek.
Yeah.
That's a very strong name, young man.
Thank you.
So, you want us to go ahead and contact your parents to and let them know that you're okay?
He sort of just nods. Yeah.
Okay. Well, is it all right if you stay hanging out with Gorko for a little bit?
Looks at him and Gorko kind of gives him a goblin smile, but he's from Waterdeep. Like, he rolls with it. Martin's, he's not, he's done with it. And he's like, yeah. And Gorko kind of reaches into a pouch and he brings out a finger bone.
No.
You want to hold it?
No, Gorko, sweetie, put that away.
Oh,
put it away.
Okay, well, you took away his thing. I was going to give him something to hold.
No.
Okay. He puts it back in his pouch.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Gorko's really confused now. He's like, okay, whatever.
Martin, would you like some tea or something while we get in contact with your parents and let's pretend that we didn't see a finger bone?
Do you have like a sugar lemon? A lemon with sugar?
I'll see what I can do, okay, honey?
Yeah, okay. And he just sort of goes back, kicking his feet again.
Okay. You two stay here. No finger bones.
Gorko's like, no finger bones. And he kind of reaches over and Martin, and he kind of like rubs him on the spine of his back a little bit while he's hanging out in the corner.
And Mara walks over to Florum. Flora?
Paula.
Mm-hmm. You have lemon sugar? Sugar lemon?
Oh, I know what he means. He's they're vendors. They sell sugar water with a little bit of lemon. It's against scurvy. It helps the kids get the vitamins they need. Yes, of course, I can very easily make that up. I'll be right back.
Oh, thank you so much, dear.
Do you want one as well? We can maybe all use a little bit of an energy boost.
And maybe with a shot of something in it.
Fala just sort of gives you a wink. It's like, I got you.
Thank you.
You're going to get a brandy lemon sugar.
Mara turns, does a quick turn and looks at Amara. You! No! Thank you!
Bard sort of stares at her, confused.
Thelvar, you've got the necklace of fireballs now in your hand. Yes, and Lady Hornraven is sat there. Her jitters are slowly reducing, and she's becoming more and more calm.
Well, necklace of fireballs goes into a nice hidden inside pocket in his coat.
Okay.
That's going away safely. Thank you very much.
Oh, instead of in the bag with the dead body.
Yeah.
I still have the dead body.
Yes. I'm sorry, my lady. I am Tholvar, human combat mage, Lord of Hadar's Folly. I hope you're feeling better and more with it right now.
Oh yes, it was. I've never been involved in anything like that. It was. I couldn't hear. I couldn't think. I was blinded. It was terrifying. I think I'll have nightmares.
Yes. It must have been very harrowing for you. Now that you're a bit more with it, do you have any more recollection of exactly what it was you saw?
She looks confused. She's like, "What? What did I say?"
You said that right before the attack, you saw someone up on the rooftop.
Oh, yes, she gets recognition in her eyes. Like, yes, it was the most curious thing. I was coming out of the back of the establishment, and I noticed a boy playing hopscotch, but then there was something flashed. It was like a glint that caught my eye and drew it up to the rooftops. And there I saw the most amazing thing. Do you know the automatons that they parade up and down Waterdeep for various city celebrations? Anyone who's listening can just roll a history check of 10 or higher, and then people in Waterdeep can do it with advantage.
Ooh.
Yes, indeed I do.
Yes, well, it sort of looked like whereas those are absolutely, massive and huge and 2 stories tall. This one just looked like a normal man-sized one. In fact, it was very peculiar. It was wearing a red cloak. I swear it was wearing a cloak and a pointy hat, a long pointed hat in the front and then a point at the top, which was as red. But its skin, I swear the skin was gold. And yeah, I saw it. It was running across the rooftops, and then it looked like it hurled something, and then a few seconds later there was a massive explosion.
Yes, that seems to fit with what I observed in the aftermath there. Thank you for the information. Are you at all injured at all?
I don't think so. I mean, my backside's a bit sore where I landed on it because I think the force of it threw me, but I don't feel like anything's broken. I think I just want to go home. I've never missed my cat of a husband so much.
Oh, yes, husbands can be like that from time to time. We do have the watch in the alleyway at the moment investigating. They may want to speak to you.
Okay. Well, yes,
But I don't think we should be taking up too much more of your time.
Yes, very good. Yes. I think I'll be going now. But thank you for helping me. I do very much appreciate it. She sort of.
You're quite welcome.
she thanks. She looks at each of you. Renier gives her a bow, and she kind of recognizes him and gives him a smile. And she excuses herself and leaves. And as she does, Fala comes back, and they have a smaller glass of a lemon, cloudy kind of lemon drink. Fala gives that to the child, and also a second one to Gorko. Not quite sure if Gorko can drink or not. And for the rest of you, you notice that there's a slight browner tinge to the tall glasses that Fala has made for you, and in those, they've put just a shot of brandy in first on top of the sugar, and then squeezed the fresh lemons out into it and mixed it up. Fala also then joins you, sort of like invites you all to sit. There's a table in that back area of the house, and invites you to sit down.
Thank you very much, Fala.
What a nightmare.
Really use this.
Yes, well, I figured I didn't want to put too much booze in it because I think we are going to have to talk to the city guards, but on the other hand, I didn't want to put in so little that you didn't feel the effects.
Oh, it is much appreciated.
Yeah, not that it would matter. I don't mind being smashed in front of the po-po. Get drunk, get drunk.
I'm just picturing Mara just kind of like dancing. Fala's like, wow, you're still on an adrenaline rush. Okay. I guess, did any of you see what happened?
Nope.
Oh, I suppose.
Just heard a bang.
I suppose where the explosion happened. You heard a bang?
I heard a bang, and I thought it was Clue.
Fala smiles. Says, well, I was watering my plants actually in the greenhouse on the second floor. The blast blew out some of my windows, but happily, I didn't get caught by any of the glass. When I saw that people were lying injured, I decided to just, rather than take the stairs, just drop down from the second level. And just as I did, this big lumbering human man, knocked me over. I think, well, I don't know if he knocked me over so much as he sort of like used me to steady himself. I noticed as he did, he had one of those Zent tattoos on his forearm. And he used me to steady himself and push off me. He just threw me right into the gravel pit, which is when Mara, thank you for fixing my hand. That's when I dirtied my outfit and had my hand cut up. But he was acting suspicious, that one. I mean, obviously some Zents are going to act suspicious sometimes, but as he was heading down the alleyway, do you know where the bent nail is? Have you?
Indeed, we do. Yes.
Yes, he was heading in that direction down the alley and kept looking over his back shoulder. Oh, but you know what? God, now that I think about it, when I landed, he was the first person I saw when I. Well, actually, I fucked this up. Sorry. Fala's gonna run around. They're gonna run around and look at the alleyway. They're gonna run forward to get closer to. I didn't say that in the story. Fala jumped down, ran forward because they saw the people, and also she saw the dead woman. They saw the dead woman. She was lying there, and as Fala was approaching, the guy who came lumbering toward her was pulling something from the pocket of what looked like a gnome. But the human, he was very injured, and that's when he came at me, used me to steady himself, and that's when he threw me to the ground. Retcon!
What a cad.
Well, yes. I mean, he was, I have to say, very badly injured. And at this, Renier steps forward and says, This human with the human male with the Zent tattoo, you said he was quite large? Fala said yes, he was a very hulking man, good stature, but also you can tell he's had a lot of beer in his life. He was a very hefty human. Renier says, was he older, like black and grey in his hair? And Fala said, yes, he's probably, I'd say, for humans. Oh, it's so hard for me to judge humans. They age so quickly. I guess in their 40th year, somewhere between the 40th and 50th year. Renier's eyes sort of widen and then narrow. And he says, Oxo Floxen, I think that's who that was. I think he might have killed my old servant, Dalagar. The bastard.
Who is
I
that?
think he may have been here for your friend, but I don't believe he was responsible for the attack. The lady that I rescued over by the private eyes, she saw something up on the roof that initiated the attack. I believe it must have been, I don't know, a golem or a warforged or something. She says it resembled one of the festival automatons, but human-sized.
A human-sized construct. Well, that's true.
Indeed.
If Erstal was attacked, then that means that more people want the Stone of Galar than more people know about it and want it than I'd originally realized.
Indeed.
And then you hear on the back door, and you see the face of Eustace. He's like, oh, you lot. You all right there? Can I come in?
Indeed, we are fine. Fala, this is your establishment.
Yeah, Fala will go up and they'll open up the door. And yeah, Eustace will come in and says, "Oh, right. So you guys, you sent the lady over to us. Thank you for that. I just wanted to let you know. Yeah, we're going to be expanding the area that we're cordoning off. We've got Barnabas Blastwind here from the Watchful Order. He says it was definitely a magic attack. And so we're going to be looking more broadly. We're going to look a little bit wider. So you guys are at the tavern, right? And he sees the boy there. He's like, "Oh, who's this?"
This is just a boy who was playing here in the alleyway. Thankfully, they weren't caught in the explosion, but it did startle them. I don't believe they saw anything important. We're going to have him taken back to his home. He's very, very shaken up.
Understandably, but we will have to. We have a special unit for dealing with kids. I'll bring one of the officers by. We will have to talk to him. We have to talk to all of the witnesses. Is it? I'm gonna have to ask you guys if you can please move off and back to your tavern. Fala, if it's all right, I'm gonna ask you also to go over to the tavern. We just want to make sure that there's no other devices around or anything else. We want to collect the evidence, and since we had people injured all the way back here, we're gonna need to treat this as a crime area, as a crime scene area as well.
Yes, fair enough. We will head back there very shortly.
All right. Yeah, and he waves at one of the officers. And he's like, yeah, can you get Specialist Teehee over here to talk to this young lad here, and get his details, get a statement, and get him back to his parents. All right. So yeah, the officer goes off, and Eustace also disappears. Yeah, are you guys heading back then over to the tavern, which is outside of the crime scene area?
Mara glares at the guards and then looks at her party. Should I stay here with the boy?
The city watch, they're safe enough. I'm not gonna murder random children at the very least.
Yeah, but he's traumatized.
So as you guys are talking, there's a very youngish looking elven man in a guard, more like a teenager, and he knocks on the door and says, "Hi, I'm here to talk to a very special boy. Understand that there's someone here who had a terrible day and he needs to get back to his parents."
Indeed. One moment, we will go fetch him. Thalvar walks over towards Mara. Tell the boy to stay on the Eccles A.
Well played, city guard. Well played. Mara walks over to collect the boy. So there is a gentleman here who will be talking to you about what happened.
Okay.
Do not tell him about the necklace, okay?
How
Just
come?
tell him because that necklace is very dangerous and we will take care of it, okay?
Okay, give me a persuasion check. It's gonna be a pretty easy one. You need to make an 8. I'll tell you.
A persuasion check, oh please God. Okay.
Yes.
He's like, well, if I want to come back for more lemon and sugar, can I come back to the store and get some? It's the best I've ever tasted.
Yes, but I'll give you. And she, Mara, kind of like snaps her fingers in Thelvar's direction, and like kind of makes a movement like for a card of some kind, with like our address on it.
Yep, Thalvar reaches into the other side of his coat and pulls out a nice silver case, flips it open, and pulls out a nicely gold leaf embossed card. And it's like, there we go, Mara.
Yes.
Closes the case and puts it back away.
Here's a card for our address. You come visit us at any time, and we will get you your lemon water, okay?
Okay.
All right, awesome. Hope to see you soon, sweetling.
Bye. He sort of like walks over, and young city city guard. I know there's a difference. The watch is the outside. The guard is the inside. The city guard is like kind of drops to one knee so he's not bending over him and says, "Hi, what's your name?" "My name's Martin." "Martin?" I'm like, "Hi, my name's Joe Bob." I didn't come up with the name. No, that's not very good. Sorry.
Joe Bob.
I know. Keep it. I love it.
Yeah,
If you
it's
change it, I'm going to be sad.
with
I
Joe.
just need to give him a Tennessee accent.
Yeah, JOBBOB. Like, you want to get back to your parents, I heard. And Martin's like, "Yeah, I think I want to go home now." I'm like, "All right, we're gonna get you home. There's someone I'm gonna talk to. We're gonna get your parents' details, learn a little bit more about what happened here today, and then we're gonna arrange for them to come by a carriage, and you can go home with them." They're walking out now of the store and the back of the store, and he's actually not taking them near where all of the devastation was and the dead bodies. He's actually like walking them up closer to the north entrance of Trollskull Alley. Yeah, and so then are you and Fala and Renier all going to head back to the tavern?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you guys are walking out, Thelvar, you notice, and I won't make you do a check for this because you are a member in good standing of the Watchful Order of the Magus and Protectors. And Clue, you do magic too, right? You've got a license, you're in the guild. So you recognize Barnabas Blastwind, who is he's not like the highest person in the guild, but he's one of the upper echelon. You know, he's just the kind of person that they would call, and he's looking at various bits of, measuring out the distance of where the fires were, and he's kind of like doing a whole bunch of CSI Waterdeep kind of stuff. So
CSI Waterdeep.
yeah,
I love it.
Right. So you can go back to the inn, and you've got a little bit of time if you guys want to talk this out before you actually have to talk to the police. So you have a chance to. You've got in the privacy of your own place now. You've got some information. Before you have to actually give an official statement. Yeah, I just want to give you guys a chance to kind of talk this out. So.
Okay, so we didn't find the gem that he was the gnome was bringing on his body, did we?
No, you didn't see anything. I mean, the pouch, when you did your investigation check, it looked like it had, more like something small in it, coins, or maybe gemstones, something, but not like. So one of the things, if you want, you can ask Renier what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that's what we're doing.
Okay, yeah. So, Renier says, "Well, I haven't actually seen it myself, but from my understanding of what Dalagar showed his friends, it was oversized for his hand, so probably for an elf or a human, it would fit in the palm of your hand. It was they said it didn't look very special. It had a gray-greenish coloring, and it was quite glossy. And he said it was a very powerful object that he had to make sure got to. He still calls my father the Open Lord of Waterdeep, even though he's not. But his loyalty was one of the more endearing parts of his traits. And he showed it to him. He said he needed to get it to the Open Lord.
But who was that guy?
Which guy?
The cad who.
The one you think you knew who stole it?
You mean Fluxum?
Oh, well, I haven't actually seen Erstil Floxen myself, but I have connections in the city with other people who are very good at exchanging information on the different darker parts of Waterdeep. We have a pledge to make sure that no one power, no one person ever becomes so powerful that they can override the will of everyone else. In particular, right now, we're worried about what we're hearing in the Xanathar Guild and the power that they're assembling. But this particular person seems to work with the Zents, and this particular person seems to have beef with Xanathar. This is from the information that we're hearing. And from our side, if two evil groups are fighting each other, well, then they're not busy taking things over. But unfortunately, it's become street violence, which we would very much like to see go away.
Well, to be fair, Fluxen has trouble with a lot of parties in this city now, doesn't he?
Well, that would be... I can't deny that. I mean, someone just threw a fireball beat at him. And certainly wasn't Xanathar. I don't think the Xanathar Guild deals with constructs like that. So that unique little, and actually man-sized construct, that's nothing I've ever heard of from either Zents or Xanathar. They prefer real living beings to work with.
Doesn't sound like a drow thing either. A lot of parties getting involved with this thing.
Well,
Apparently he was dressed in a red cloak and a pointy hat. I think someone fancies himself as a mage without the actual gift.
gosh, maybe, it might be possible if one of you could get to the city morgue. You could, I don't know, after your Fisher clearing out the source of the earthquake that I read about in the paper. I mean, if you could get to Dalakar and cast Speak with the Dead, or if you knew someone who could cast Speak with the Dead, maybe there's some information that he could still provide to help us find the stone.
I mean, do we know anybody like that?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you can always hire a cleric if you need one. But the harder thing would
Yes.
be getting in, convincing the city guard that you need to speak to them.
I'm sure.
Wouldn't we also need his body?
I
Well-
mean, that's why we're going into the morgue.
That's why we're breaking into the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Keep up with the conversation, Hebara.
Mm.
Mara was keeping up with the conversation. Be nice, Thelvar.
I think Felvar's just a little bit burned from all of the flame talk.
Would we? Well, I mean, the body's right over there. Why don't we just take it?
Yes, the body is possibly still right over there, under a lot of guards. I think we need to do this.
Well, if you have to ask the guards, why don't you just ask the guards now while they're there and the body's there?
We're not asking the guards, we're distracting the guards so we can. Yes.
Same difference. Distract them now, distract them later. Get the body now, get the body later. It's the same thing.
Distracting all of those guards and the mages for the time it would take to cast Speak with the Dead. It's not a quick spell, you know.
I know.
Yes, we would need somewhere a little more private and a little. What's the word I'm looking for? A little less. Prone to interruption.
Also, I should say I didn't mention it before, but when you saw, when you came back out the time to cross the alley, Barnabas Blastwin, you noticed that there were now officers at various doorsteps. They seemed to be working their way like from the blast site. So they were on the left side of the map as opposed to the right side. They were at there was a whole bunch of cops knocking on doors and they were like taking notes. So getting basically testimony from everybody in the neighborhood that is at home right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are we
Yes,
useful? No, we're not. A cab,
But yes,
12.
it's far more difficult to distract all these people when they're spread out like this, rather than just one or two guards in a building.
Couldn't we just say we saw that guy run down that alley and then they chase him?
I doubt all of them would do that. Hebara.
Tamara, sweetie, they're not all Clue.
Yeah.
Just that once, Jesus.
Renier says, did the woman, the Miss Hornraven, did she say it looked like she said it looked like a construct from the Day of Wonders, right?
Mhm.
Indeed, she did, yes.
It makes me wonder if maybe a place to start would be the sponsor of the Day of Wonders. So why doesn't everyone give me a history check? Mara, you can give me at what advantage for reasons I'll explain later, and residents of Waterdeep can do it with advantage as well.
So 22?
Correct.
21.
Yep. Okay. What did you get? Oh, you got 21. Clue. Hibara's like, I don't care about this stuff.
I'm pretty sure she has no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
Just like
Yep.
robots and
Yes.
party. What is this place?
Yep. So Thelvar and Clue, it suddenly dawns on you, it kind of clicks in your mind that, yeah, actually the House of Inspired Hands is, which is the Waterdeep Temple of Gond. It's just they're like the Tinkerer's religion that you know that they are a big sponsor because they like try to promote this every year, and so that their banner is there, and it's like a big thing that they help participate, they put on and help participate in. And Mara, you remember from your time in the temple to all of the religions that the Gond people would sometimes they would bring, like, they weren't real constructs, but they were more like wooden construct, almost like those wooden figures of humans where it's just like wooden dowels or something, and there's like a head and a neck, and they have joints and stuff, and they sort of like a puppet, almost like a marionette, and they would come there and they would drop those off. So you realize that there's like a artificers or sort of like tinkerers church that sponsors those kinds of constructs or automatons, and if that's what she was describing, that it looked like maybe that they would know a bit more about this thing. All right, so as you guys are thinking, you hear at the front area. By the way, when you came back into the tavern, Jarvis had given the carpenters the day off. People were very distracted, and there was cops in the streets, everything else. So they just said, "Look, why don't you come back tomorrow? We'll start over again." But the Bobs are still there. They really like your place.
So Jarvis has been hiring undocumenteds. Too many police around. Go away. Come back tomorrow.
But they're still like doing some sweeping up, and they kind of like after. So here's the thing: like when you guys are gone, after like they finish working, they've sort of started this tradition where Liff and Jarvis will start having their tic-tac wars like around 4:00, and the Bobs like to place bets on them. And then
Oh my god. I'm here for it.
And then after they have like they do a best of 3 every day, and then they just like they sit down and they'll play poker, the 4 of them, or maybe they'll like bring out some checkerboards or whatever else, and they just sort of like sit at a table, and they have kind of like a quiet time at the end of the day. And even though you can't serve beer, so it's not charged, like, so they brought in their own keg, so yeah, they'll have a beer and they'll have a little bit of a chat, and they just kind of like they're bonding. And so the Bobs are like, well, if we leave, then we don't get to do any of that, so they're just gonna like stay and do their stuff so they can do the fun stuff after work, if it's still possible. Also, they're damn curious about what's going on. They want to eavesdrop on what's going to happen when they... Yeah. So this time, it's Eustace, and he is there with... do I have my... Yes. He is there with Barnabas Blastwind, who comes in, and when he enters the building, Jarvis opens the door and invites them in. And also sort of it extends a hand over to the table where all of you are sat, and there are a few now more usable chairs that can be brought over. And so Jarvis and the captain, and Blastwind all kind of grab a seat and sit down. It says, Eustace says, well, I know you might be familiar with Barnabas Blastwind. Barnabas sort of like, he's an older, it's kind of, imagine Albert Einstein type, elderly, getting on retirement, getting too old for this kind of shit. But he says, oh, Thelvar, it's good to see you. And your Clue, right? I try to keep up with the membership. Offers you both a handshake, and says, hello, very nice to meet you, and offers a handshake to you, Mara, and to Hebar as well. And Jarvis, as he's shaking your hand, sort of introduces, like, oh, this is Mara, she's one of the party members, the owners of the tavern, as is Hebar here, and so all the introductions are made.
Greetings, Barnabas.
Yes,
Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, well, I tell you, it's good to see you, but I wish it wasn't under these circumstances.
Oh, indeed. We were... Of caught us by quite a shock when the blast hit and threw us all to the ground in here. But we just had to get out there to help who we could.
Oh, yes. Well, no, Eustace tells me that when he arrived, you were trying to tend to the wounded and checking to see if you could do anything to help. And I understand that Hibara, you were actively putting out fires. Thank you for that. It might have preserved some very important evidence, so we do appreciate that. But I think, Eustace, you have something to say before we start? It's like, oh, right, yeah. So, all right, so what we're about to do is an official police interview. As residents and citizens of Waterdeep, you have various rights. You're not currently under any kind of suspicion. However, I am duty-bound to remind you that when you do give testimony in any serious situation, in this case the deaths of multiple people, that we do expect you to be truthful, and that by leaving out information that you know is pertinent to the investigation or giving false information is punishable here in Waterdeep, up to 200 gold pieces and a 10-day at hard labor. I'm sure none of you, though, would have wanted to deceive the police, and so I know it's a formality. I don't mean to insult you, but, you know, rules, paperwork, requirements. Right. So with that out of the way. Yes. With that out of the way, can you each tell me what you were doing when the explosion happened? And if I could just take each of you in turn. So maybe if I could start with Clue, if I use your first names. Clue.
I only have one.
Clue, then Thelvar, then Mara and Ibarra, and who are you? And Gorko, who's like more of, you know, Mara's shadow than sitting at the table, sort of peeking around and sort of waves. He's like, I'm Gorko. I didn't see anything though. And he
will not be testifying to anything without an adult present.
Well, that's all right. He doesn't have to testify. It's just an interview. We're just collecting information, trying to track down what happened. Hello there, little fella. Clue, can you tell me where you were when the explosion happened and what you saw?
Well, I was in this tavern. We were talking as we usually do, and then a big explosion went off and threw me to the ground. I went out to investigate, tried to see if I could save anybody. Failing that, I investigated the crime scene, and that's about it.
Right, and when you say you investigated the crime scene, can you elaborate?
Well, I went down the alley, looked at the corpses there of the gnome and the two humans. It appears that the gnome is an old acquaintance of the now Stoken Lord. And the two humans were, well, Xanathar. So awfully a kerfuffle there before a third party most likely decided neither of them should be alive.
Right, well that's that does track with our information. Now did you say, sorry, Lord Renier, did you say there was a connection to Lord Renier? Did I miss something?
Well, yeah, the gnome is apparently an employee of him. Might have been carrying something for him, but not anything I found on the body at the very least.
Yeah, and Renier sort of pipes up. He says, "Yeah, he's completely correct. That there was a former servant who worked for my father, named of Dalagar. I was shocked when I saw him. I'd actually come to my adventuring party friends. I don't know if you remember, or of course you do, Captain Eustace knows this, Mr. Blastwind probably doesn't, but these people rescued me, and I was hoping to enlist their help with maybe tracking down my friend who'd gone missing. He'd been missing since I'd been kidnapped, and I was worried that maybe he'd attracted the attention of the Zents or Xanathar as a consequence of, you know, like being seen near me or with me when they tried to kidnap me." Eustace is like, right, okay. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss, sir. Thank you very much. Eustace says, right, and you, Thelvar, what was your test? What did you see after the explosion? What happened?
Oh, well, yes. As Clue said, we were upstairs having a bit of a meeting about bar-related stuff when Mr. Neverember came to visit us about their missing gnome friend. There was a large explosion that threw most of us across the room. I immediately rushed out and saw the devastation and carnage. I spotted the boy behind a rain barrel. I rushed to him and got him to Miss Mix Leaflier to take the boy back into their shop.
That was Martin Trek, right? You're saying that was the boy?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Taking notes.
And then I spotted the good lady over by the private eye and rushed to help her up.
Miss Hornraven.
Yes.
Right.
She was very dazed at the time and said something confusing about having spotted someone or something up on the roof.
Oh, on the roof, you say? Okay.
Yes, but I paid it very little mind. She was, as I say, very dazed at the time, and the fires were raging, so I thought it was best to get her back to McSleaflier. And then I joined my colleagues out in the alleyway, and I pretty quickly recognized the charring pattern of what I believe to have been a fireball spell. And from the impact and the carnage caused, I would say it was targeting the gnome and the two humans that seemed to be accosting him.
Barnes smiles and says, Thelvar, we're going to have to bring you on the investigation team of the Watchful Order. That's exactly the conclusion that I'm drawing so far based on the evidence.
Good to see the Order is doing a bang-up job as always.
So anything else to add to your account?
No, we were still there in the alleyway once you came into the alleyway and ordered us back. We went to Mix Leaflier's to inform her what was going on and to check on the two people we rescued to make sure they were okay. And we were in the process of doing that when you came to inform us what was going on.
Right. Thank you very much. Mara, is it? What was? How did it happen for you?
The same thing that my colleagues have stated. And then, let's see. Thelvar, almost identical to what Thelvar said, actually. Made sure that the boy was okay. Healed our neighbor.
Bala says, yes, she did a wonderful job. Oh, sorry, they said, she did. No, you're a she. Sorry, pronouns. Yes, she did a wonderful job.
Mara again is like, what are pronouns? Mara still has yet to figure out pronouns, and Clue is just like, we will talk about it later. You still haven't told me what pronouns are. Oh, and then I found the gnome and the two people that were trying to kidnap him in the alley, and everybody was dead.
And unfortunately, that is the case. Barnabas sort of somberly nods his head. Says it's a
no shit, Ducky.
A terrible thing. It's such a waste of life. Such a waste of life. Well, and then I turned up with the other members of the city guard, and I pushed you off. Sorry for my brusqueness. It was more to do with crowd control. It's just a tone of voice that you have to take. Otherwise, yeah, people will try to negotiate with you, and you need to make sure you preserve the evidence. So I'm sorry if I kind of barked at you. Wasn't my intention. It's just it's a very.
It's so nice to see that the city watch, or whatever you are keeping us safe.
I wish we'd done a better job today. I tell you.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you say, Ducky. Whatever you say.
And Hibara it was, right?
Yes.
What was what did after the explosion? What did you do and what did you see?
Well, I saw a lot of dead people and a lot of stuff that was on fire. And I figured we probably don't want things on fire. They keep telling me that that's a bad idea.
Things
So-
should be on fire.
See? So I started putting out some fires, which apparently you said was very helpful.
Very right. That
So-
was very helpful. Yeah.
Can I have the gnome?
What?
Don't pay attention to her. She has a thing for dead bodies. I'm gonna go into it.
No, I need the gnome. I want to ask it a question. Well, I mean, it's dead now, so the gnome
Well-
body, if we're being specific.
Eustace looks a little bit confused, and then he looks at Barnabas. Barnabas says, "Oh, she was incredibly helpful. I mean, some of the people that she pulled out, we managed to keep stuff in their pockets. Their identification notes were going to be able to track bodies." She's like, "Right, look, I can't give you his body. It's not
I
mine
won't
to
need it
give.
forever.
But what I
don't,
can."
don't pay too much mind to Hibara. She's a druid. She's new to the city and civilization. She doesn't quite get all of our ways.
Well,
I
don't
just want the body
patronize
for
her.
a little bit, like
Give her the body.
8 hours or something.
Give
I don't
her
remember
the
how long it
body.
takes.
Give her the body. Give her the body. Give her the body.
Well, so the bodies have already been removed to the city morgue, so I can't give you the body. But what I can do is I can give you, if you do want to speak. You said you wanted to speak with it. I
I want to
can.
ask a question.
If you guys want to do a speak with the dead spell, I can give you access to everyone that was involved in the explosion. I mean, as I said, Barnabas agrees. Your actions preserved evidence, so I mean, it seems only fair if that's if you have some questions to ask your dead Lord Renair's dead servant some questions. I can make it known down at the city morgue. They should give you. I can't give you 8 hours. I think they're gonna question that. I can give you probably 2 hours maximum.
Yeah, that works.
Right. Well, yeah. Let me pass this up the chain of command. Should be ready by, I'd say. Barnabas kind of looks. Right. We have to do our own investigation first. So say day after tomorrow.
That sounds
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Oh, there was one other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some fat guy ran down the alley towards the Brent Nail. You should probably check that out.
Fala pipes up. I forgot about Fala, but they're there. Sorry, they're there too. And so she's right on that. I was, when I give my account, you'll hear that I was in my second story of my building. The explosion happened in the alley. It blew out some of the glass. I could see people were injured. I jumped down from the second story and ran over into the alley. And as I did, I was accosted by a well-built, hefty, I guess, maybe not well-built, hefty human. I noticed he had a black tattoo of a flying snake on his left forearm. He grabbed me to steady himself and then used me to kind of push off. And as he did, he ran down toward the alleyway. He had grey black hair. Looked like he was one of the seafaring folk of the northern parts of the Sword Coast, I'd have to say, by the jewelry he wore on his face. At this, Barnabas, his eyes get a bit wide, and he leans forward. He said, hefty man, 40s. He's like, oh, that sounds like Erston Fluxen.
Yeah, that dude.
Right, okay, well, look, you lot have proved you've identified one of the culprits that I'm chasing. I'm gonna be a little bit honest here with you. Some information. Back when I first met you lot, when we were talking after the rescue of Lord Renier here and his friend Bloom, Erston Fluxen is the person that we were trying to find down the dock wards. I'd actually set a watch on that building for a few days, and I had pulled the watch off because we were getting nothing. It was only a couple days after that they did the kidnapping, and occupied that place. So, yes, it seems that this Erston Fluxen is the big fish who is responsible for much of the recent strife between the Zents and the Xanathars. And now he's turned up in your alley. What? Wait a minute, you're saying that these Zents were chasing Lord Renier's servant up the alley toward your tavern?
No, just the one.
Well, the one servant, yeah. But he was making his way to you guys, wasn't he?
Mm.
That's the speculation.
Bar is. I don't even need to roll insight for that. That was very good.
I mean, she's not lying. This is the problem.
All right. Well,
That's what I want to ask him.
Yeah, Habara tends
one of
to
them
tune out
anyway.
when the talky things happen.
well, look, you guys have been incredibly helpful. Barnabas, is there anything that I'm missing that you need to hear from these people? Barnabas kind of looks around each of you and says, is there anything else about what is there anything? I know you guys kind of went through your accounts pretty quickly. Anything that you've left out? Anything that you might have seen or heard from someone else that you talked to, the boy, Lady Ravenhorn? Anything else you want to add to your statement before we wrap this up?
Not that I can think of. Things just went so fast. It's all a bit of a blur, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we'll have to figure out who's been practicing fireball magic in the city in a way that's so destructive, and also it looks like it came from the rooftops and it was thrown down into the alley. You probably know this, Thelvar, from your investigations, but what we think is it was so deadly because it was thrown into a very narrow passageway. The fireball hit in a confined area, blew out everybody, which is how it also took out the halflings that you saw, and probably shook the windows of this building, I'd imagine.
Oh, indeed it did, yes.
Well, no, Eustace, I think we have everything. If you guys want to amend your statements, or if there's something that you've forgotten, I know oftentimes after an initial shock, it's hard to recall all the details, but after you've calmed down, sometimes I find after people sleep, they have a sleep, he's sort of looking at you guys, they have a sleep, and then they remember something that they didn't notice or they didn't pay attention to, or it just sort of slipped their minds in their testimony. If anything like that happens, you can always come and amend your statement. you know where the order of the Watchful Order headquarters are, or probably best to actually go take it to Eustace. Eustace, do you have a card? He said, "Oh yeah, you're right, Gov. Yeah, right here." Pulls out a tattered, like, natty 4 or 5 business cards. He doesn't have like a nice silver case. And it's like dog-eared, just like probably like some tobacco attached to it, whatever. He slides it over. Says, oh right, what I can also do. And he goes, he reaches in and Barnabas hands him a pen, quill, whatever, and he writes a message on the back of his business card. Says, all right, so you can take this. You can always contact me. It's got my home address. I'm not often there, but you can try me. You can also go to a local watch. They can try to track me down if I'm on the job. And if you want to take this, I've put a message on this, the back of it for the city morgue, saying that you have authorization to interview the dead victims in the Trollskull Alley incident for up to 2 hours.
Thank you very much. Thelvar takes the card, takes out his case, puts it in the back of the case, and takes out 2 cards and hands one to each of them. Here is our card. As you notice, we are working on getting our business open, which should be ready in a few weeks. We hope to see you both here once it does open.
Barnabas sort of looks at it and he's like, ooh, I like the idea of this one. Oh, a haunted tavern. That would be a great marketing idea. That's fantastic. By the way, Liff is gone. Like, he is nowhere to be seen. He is not making his presence known. Barnabas looks at it and goes, oh, you lot are working for the Solutions Guild. Oh.
Indeed we are, yes.
Moving up in the world then, eh? Oh.
Yes.
That's pretty quick. I didn't hear about you guys a month ago, and now you're part of the Solutions Guild. Good for you. Good for you. Well.
Yes. Well, more of a sideways move for myself, but yes, I'm helping raise my friends up here and setting up a nice business with them.
All right, well.
Wow.
I'm sure
Mar glares at Thelvar for that statement. Like, I'm looking at you. Thanks.
Come on, Thelvar does own a whole region.
Yeah.
It's a curse.
He might own it, but he can't actually own it because he's been ousted.
Also, may I remind you that Thelvar still owes Clue money?
There, that too.
Yeah, I know. And he's not been ousted. He's kind of under self-exile, not fully reclaiming his birthright until the curse is cleared, because, once he does, that starts the 5-year clock ticking. But yeah.
Oh, so, yeah, he's still ousted. Because he's ousted by death.
Well, the spectre of death.
Same thing.
All right, so Eustace and Barnabas, they get up. Jarvis is there, sort of like has been standing very respectfully behind the bar, but definitely eavesdropping. And opens the door. Gentleman gets them their coats, their hats as they were wearing, and lets them out the front door, into the exit toward the north part, head to the north of the street. And as the door shuts, Renier kind of looks at you guys and says, I really hope you guys know what you're doing.
Never.
Not quite the way that we were planning on taking things, but the head bar accelerated our game plan. Hopefully, we can get things worked out.
Well, can I ask if you can let me know what Dalagar says, and also, can you tell him how sorry I am when you speak with him?
Of course we will, most definitely. Is there anything particular that you would like us to ask of him?
No, more just tell him I never knew that. Sorry, went too Cockney there. Tell him that I never saw him, and that it wasn't until I saw him in the alley that I realized he'd been following me.
I will certainly pass that message on, Renier.
Fala stands up and says, Renya, do you want another brandy, lemon, sugar before you hit the road? Yes, I think a snifter of brandy is just the thing, if you guys don't mind. We'll leave. Yeah, so the two of them leave together. You're not entirely sure it's platonic. And yes, you guys. And Renya says, if you can just keep me in the loop a little bit, like if the Church of Gone thing works out or you get some leads. I mean, I just want to know what's going to happen. I keep me updated. My father wronged the city. If I could play some small part in putting that right, it would mean a lot to me.
Of course. We will keep you as up to date as we can.
I don't want to. I don't need daily updates. I trust your discretion, and there's something significant that would be important to know. That, or if you find out where it is and you need help or could use some backup, please don't hesitate to track me down. Right? You've been there for me. I'd like to be there for you.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, and then they both leave. So, at this point, let's see. The explosion, you guys got back at, say, going on noonish, and then there was the explosion, although that didn't take very long. The cops came within, I think, the first 10 minutes. Then the investigation started. It's probably, say, 4-ish in the afternoon at this point. Like, once the door shuts and the cops are gone, Liff is you can see the chalk being lifted up, and you see a new tic-tac-toe game being drawn out. 3 of them in the corner. It's getting to be that time of day, and the Bobs are starting to like nudge each other about placing bets. But you guys, if you want to stay down in the ground floor and have a conversation about what you want to do next, or if you want to take it upstairs, or what you want to do, because you've got some options here.
Guess we want to talk in private, so upstairs we go.
Yep.
I can at least change the map so you've got the building now. You're an under construction building. Yeah, the stairs creak a bit as you climb them to get up to the second level. But you're back in the common room, where before you were just having a conversation before all of this lunacy, this sort of like chaos entered your day.
Oh, what a day.
Definitely.
As you guys sit down, you hear the stairs creak, and Jarvis and Gorko are coming upstairs. Gorko's got looks like a really weak ale, like the kind they'd serve the kids during the Middle Ages, and they've got pints. So Gorko has his, and Jarvis has brought you each a pint of ale, saying, "I couldn't pour any ale when the police were here because we're not technically open yet, but now that he's gone, I'm not serving you, formally. It's just a casual drink." So
Indeed. Thank you very much, Jarvis.
and then Jarvis will actually head up to their room they're gonna they're gonna start doing some stuff in the space that you've created for them in the inn. So, and Gorko is gonna just kind of like curl up on Mara's lap, just sort of sit on Mara's lap and like lean in. Hasn't had his afternoon nap.
Ugh, someone's getting a nap, lucky duck.
I don't think we should tell the gnome that message.
I mean, don't think he can. I don't think that's how Speak with Dead works. They can answer questions, but their soul doesn't come back.
Indeed.
Plus, if we told him, hey, I didn't see you until you exploded, probably would send the message that, hey, I'm the one who exploded you. And then you just have an angry ghost. No one needs that.
No.
Indeed, but I thought it best to just put Renya's mind at ease.
Well, so that's gonna be in 2 days. In the meantime, we have.
Wait.
Hmm?
What am I gonna do with this body?
Oh, here, I'll show you.
No.
Jarvis is going to be taking care of getting that sorted. Don't worry, Mara. Don't worry.
If you drop it off, you can put it in the basement for right now.
All right, Mara trudges to the basement to go
Okay.
put the body somewhere.
There's actually like
Put it here.
empty boxes that are sort of lined up in a way that you could sort of like shake him out of the bag. and sort of like from the head to the feet, or from the feet to the head, and just kind of shake him out in a line.
There's no shaking him out of this bag. But if you like me putting the bag on the floor and trying to lift his butt out of
No,
the bag.
just stand on top and turn the bag upside down. They'll just
Doesn't
fall
the
out.
bag poof at midnight?
Yes.
Not tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow midnight.
You still have like
Okay.
about 36 hours. Call it.
I was about to say, just leave the bag in the basement.
That would
Solves
also
itself.
work. But
Yeah, but I want to kind of keep the bag on me in case we need it again
for another.
for
In
something
case
else.
Hibara's like, no, let's take the gnome. We're here in the morgue. Let's just take it.
I know, right? Oh my god. Mara goes downstairs to figure out what she's going to go do.
Okay. So Mara goes downstairs to figure out how to extract the body. If you want, you can ask Jarvis to help. They're upstairs. They're one floor up.
Oh, Hibara's helping.
Oh, okay. So Hibara and Mara.
Wait,
go-
Mara?
No, she's like, yeah, let me show you. I know
Oh
the
my
perfect
God.
place.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna show you my stash.
Of dead bodies?
I mean, if you think about it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, she's basically just pointing out this little alcove down at the bottom. like right behind the stairs. Perfect.
So, Clue. I take it this rebel Zent is going to be a problem.
I mean, I think they're already a problem, to be honest. I'll make sure to bring it up with Davil. Have to go there anyway.
Jolly good. Yes, perhaps if you can find any possibilities of their whereabouts while you're doing that, it would be mighty helpful.
Problem. Flotsam is as much a turn in their side as it is in ours.
So I gathered from what you were saying.
Well, for the rest, we have a couple of leads as on the orrery, as well as this little incident of ours.
Indeed, and we'll have a busy day a busy morning ahead of us tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we still have to job with the watch as well. Need to figure out a way to take care of that quickly, not waste much time on it.
Indeed. I would suggest taking it easy for the rest of the day and taking care of the rest of our business after that tomorrow.
Sounds good. I guess Clue's leaving for the yawning portal to officially become a Zent.
Okay. Did you want to hoof it just on foot, or did you want to get the cart and get down there a bit faster?
Yeah, I think Clue can use a bit of a walk.
Okay, fair enough. Right, so the distance to go from the Trollskull alley down to the yawning portal is, a little bit longer by foot. So it's by the time you guys have this conversation, let's call it 4:30. As you are leaving, you can hear Mara and Hibara having an argument about the dead body in the basement. Their voices are like, "No, his feet should point this direction." Like, I told you we should put him in the cupboard. And you head off. When you get to the yawning portal, it's still early, but it's, there's a lot of day drinkers who show up at this place. Also, there's a new party that has paid the owner, whose name skips me right now, but it's just because it's not on the tip of my tongue. They paid him to be dropped down in, and that always gets kind of a crowd of people taking bets, weighing up Durnan, or Durnan, how you want to say it, whether or not they're like gonna make it or not, and they get heckled and stuff, and they're drinking too and having a good time. I guess I can put up the yawning portal map because I've got that as well. You remember where Davil's sort of private booth is in the yawning portal. So you make your way up to the 3rd floor, and the curtains are closed. The curtains are closed.
Is there like a wooden post or something I can knock on?
Do you want to roll perception? Go ahead and give me a perception roll. Yeah, you don't hear anything. So yeah, it's got a wooden frame that holds it up. So yeah, if you wanted to knock on the wooden frame.
Yep, that's the one.
Clue here. Oh yeah, come on in.
Hey, Davil, how's it going?
Hey, Clue, how you doing? Sorry, he's too cockney. I gotta get back to John Wayne. How you doing, Tiger? All right, little southern, kind of a slow, confident.
You're still too cockney.
Still too cockney. I gotta practice go too southern. Let me think.
Howdy.
Well, hello there. Eat your Cheerios and drink your orange juice.
What the fuck? I'm dying.
Well, all right. Well, yeah. Hello there, Clue. How you doing? I heard there was some problems up in the North Ward today.
I mean, somebody blew up a couple of people. Fluxon may or may not have been involved.
So you see his eyebrows. He's kind of he's a good poker player, but when you said explosion, you see a reaction. And when you say Urtzel Fluxon, he... Oh, God. All right. Tell me what happened.
No one was gonna come to us with an item he wanted, most likely wanted us to deliver to Renier, you have never winter. Assume you have heard of him.
Oh yeah, I know the son of the Open Lord, a former Open Lord.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, Centaurum Fluxum's crew apparently tried to get to him before we did, and then the third party just chucked a fireball at him, blowing them all up.
Urstel gets more hell attracts more attention, brings us more grief than any other rogue Zent or independent Zent chapter I have ever. If I get my hands on that boy, I am going to break his neck with one snap.
Hey, what can I say? I'd be glad to help. And so with the rest of my crew at this point.
Well, speaking of crew, I'm happy that you've decided to come back and become part of ours. So, let me start the process here. Thank you for the information, by the way. I will definitely pass this on to some people who might need to know about it, and if we get any word, it sounds like what you said, even though you didn't, I'm just going to pretend like you did. Erstel was pretty injured as he was leaving, and his,
Well, nobody was leaving that site entirely unhurt.
Yeah.
Tell you that much.
and he left 2 of his friends behind as well, dead. So that means that he's without support and he's injured. He's gonna go to ground somewheres. So I'll see if I can put an ear to the ground and figure out anything on his movements. Get a word, I'll have Yagra stop by the tavern, tell you to come by, pick up some information.
Sounds great.
All right. So, and he reaches down, he pulls out what is a very simple wooden box, but it's made of a very beautiful wood, like the grains in the woods are very like swirly and elaborate, and it's got like just incredibly sharp corners. It's not like a soft box, it's very precisely made, with very beautiful hinges on it, and a flap sort of like hinge on the front. It's polished with to the point where it's almost glass. Like if you were to like move it, you'd swear that you could like definitely see your reflection in it. He's got the box facing himself, and you hear the little thick of clutch, the opening, whatever that word is. I'm forgetting English words. And opens up the box and turns it towards you. What you see inside is the entire inside of the box is fitted out with almost like a red velvet. The top is a red velvet, and inside is an emblem of a black snake with flying wings. And then inside the box, it's a series of rings in different sizes. Everything from like a pinky ring to something you could put on your thumb, to something an orc could wear, to something like a gnome could wear. And there's 2 rows for an iron ring and 2 rows for a gold. So rings made of gold and rings made of iron. Davil sort of turns it towards you and says, well, you can pick out the ring you want. Some people like to be a bit more flashy. Some people like to play it a little more under the radar. So we try to accommodate after a lot of complaints brought to management that our stuff wasn't flash enough. Don't even get me started, people. But anyway, you can pick whatever ring you want, and I'll show you how it works. He sort of just picks one up at random. He says, what we recommend you do is you wear it so that the Zent symbol's at the back. And he kind of pulls one up and turns it like a clockwise, from noon to 6, so it's like the bottom of it. And he just taps it, and when he does, it's a little flash of light inside the ring of a little winged snake. Says what you want to do is what we recommend you do is you slide this on, you tap it with your thumb. When you tap it, that's when you activate whatever spell you got stored. And he takes it off he sort of like puts it back in and pushes the box forward to you.
I'm gonna grab the iron pinky ring.
All right. And all right, he's like, right, that's good. He kind of closes it and slides the box under, kind of futzes a little bit as he hides it away. Says, now, repeat after me. The Zents are my family.
The Zents are my family.
I watch out for them. They watch out for me.
I watch out for them. They watch out for me.
I am the master of my own destiny.
I am the master of my own destiny.
I will never be less than what I deserve to be.
I will never be less than what I deserve to be.
And I will never forget.
And I will never forget.
Everyone has a price.
Everyone has a price.
He sort of smiles at the last part and he holds out his hand and shakes it. Offers to shake your hand.
I shake his hand.
Oh, welcome to the Zents. You're a Fang.
Happy to be here.
Well, can I get you a drink? I feel like we should have a celebratory drink right now.
Never gonna say no to a drink. Not from family.
All right, so yeah, he kind of leaves you for a bit. You can kind of play with the ring a little bit. When you just tap it with your finger and it's empty, there's nothing in there, then it just sort of lights up. It doesn't do anything. He comes back with 2 beers, and he gives you a more technical explanation of how you tap it twice. That kind of activates it. And then if you speak a spell or anyone speaks a spell into it, it will go into the ring. And then you have to tap it 3 times in order to activate it. So twice to open, sort of open it up to a spell, 3 times to discharge it. And it's 3 times because it's a really awkward movement to do with your hands, but you might accidentally touch your ring once, but it's very unlikely you're going to tap your ring 3 times. So it's kind of like a safety measure. Yes. So, and of course, too, if you want to be safe, he says, you can kind of twist it so that it's between either your pinky finger or it's a pinky ring, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can twist it if you don't want to accidentally set it off. You can turn it toward your ring finger so that, if you're doing battle or something, it won't go off. But if you feel pretty confident, or if it's not a very big spell, or you're going into battle, you can kind of just twist it into place to have it ready. Like a safety on a gun. So he brings back a drink. You guys have a few celebratory things. Yara joins you as well. She's super happy now. And you notice that actually she's got a gold one. She's got a gold ring now that you know what they look like. That she wears. It's actually because she does wrestling, or the arm wrestling, it's on her non-dominant hand. So she's also got one, but it's on the fuck you finger. It's on that is that a ring finger one? She likes to, if she's gonna punch somebody, she's gonna want that to make a mark, even like a left and a right hook or whatever. So that's where she wears hers. Yeah, and you guys have a bit of a party, and you're out all night. So that is your celebration until you go home. Go back to Trollskull Alley. So yes, Amara and Hibara, are you guys sorting out the corpse thing downstairs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because Amara's like, hey, this is where I keep my stash. She'd also would then be like, would you like to see? Pulls out the bag.
And Mara is just I'm following, but I am not convinced.
She opens the bag and it's just a bag of berries. I keep them here so they don't rot. Would you like me to make you one tonight?
One what?
A good berry.
Sure, I'll take a good berry.
Okay. And then, of course, shenanigans of getting this dwarf body into this alcove.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So the Bobs come over, and they and not Silent Bob says there's, I don't know, some kind of cleric or something. It's getting to be about 5:30 now. Some cleric is asking for Jarvis.
He's in his room.
All right. So Bob goes upstairs, and then you hear the stairs creaking. Jarvis comes down and comes by and sees you two and says, the cleric that I told you could do a gentle repose. She's here. And you look over, and it's sort of this, dwarf, a very cheery-faced looking dwarf. Very not flashy, some sort of commoner's rough cloth. Someone who looks almost like an aesthetic, not you know what I mean? Ascetic, not aesthetic. THs are hard. And she says, yes, I do good deeds for a donation to my church, and I heard that there's a soul who needs to have their time paused before they are committed back to the earth.
Yes. This way.
Right. Yeah, you go there and she says, if you could just stand back a little bit. And she kneels down and she says some prayers, and you see a slight silvery whitish glow, sort of more like a silver. I'm thinking Christmas decorations. I'm thinking like tinsel. Kind of thing, like a bit of silver but a bit of white flash as well. And then you notice that it's not like the body looks any better, but it doesn't look, it kind of looks a little less beaten up. They look like they're asleep. They look more like they're asleep than they did when you were trying to shove them into the alcove before. And Jarvis says, oh yes, I think the kitty is empty at the moment, but I will make the payment myself, and I'll put a bill in for the management. And they get out 5 gold pieces and make the donation, and then write out a receipt, with a note that says, "I need petty cash." Jarvis. And you guys need paper birds, so factor that in. So you'll just find a not a passive aggressive note, but just if you want paper birds, it's going to be 10 gold for a box of 10, and then the charge for the gentle repose, and then maybe a petty cash drawer would be a good idea.
So basically what you're saying is when Clue comes back, he's going to have a bill of 30 gold.
Well, it depends on how many oh, did you guys, you already bought you already went to the bookstore and bought boxes of paper birds, didn't you?
Did we?
I mean, I don't remember it, unless that happened 15 minutes.
No. Okay, maybe I just role-played that in my head. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, you role-played that in your head.
I pre-role-played
I think
that.
we had planned to do something.
Yes.
But not actually done anything.
Yeah, because the bookstore, in addition to selling books, sells stationery and quills and inks and paper birds. So they are available in the neighborhood if you wanted to get some. And so I think what I'd done is, in my head, because I do this sometimes, I role play out what I think you guys are going to do.
Yeah, and you could never do that.
Oh no, if you leave enough crumbs, you guys go down my garden path often enough. Now sometimes you don't, putting a dead body in the alcove, definitely not. But it's only the broad strokes that I kind of need, to feel like there's give you guys options in terms of what directions you want.
Tickling feet, adopting a baby gull.
That was not on my list. Gorko was I was like, oh, they might do that, and then definitely.
Yeah, it definitely happened.
Well, it sounds like you're definitely getting more hits than Tria's Theros game. We're constantly derailing her plans.
Well, I don't so much have plans as I have paths, I figure. And then you guys get to pick the path, and then if you so now I'm going to say in terms of where you want to go. So just as a reminder, there's your kind of current things are in the morning you've got your job. There's still outstanding finding a home for Debbie. You have in a couple days you have the opportunity to go talk to the city ward. You know what? If you want, you don't have to wait 2 days for that. I'll just say that I'll retcon that and say that from tomorrow, that Barnabas is going to work all night. And that way, if you guys want to do that tomorrow instead, you don't have to wait 2 days, depending on, because I don't want I don't want it to be 3 sessions before you get to do that. If you want to
say within the next 2 days.
Yeah, within the next 2 days, right? And then there was also the insight you guys had about the Temple of Gond, sort of constructs specialists. So when so the gentle repose is taken care of. Thelvar, was there anything you wanted to do on the evening?
Well, while everyone else is off doing those bits, Thelvar will take Gorko aside for another study session.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, there's the fireplace. He likes to study in front of the fireplace in the ground floor, and also too, like there's the sound of the Bobs, Liff, and Jarvis doing their nightly poker game. He kind of like half listens to them, but he doesn't want to participate. So it's kind of like being around. It's like a cat. They want to be near you, but they don't, or on you, but they don't want to always have to. Like they want their freedom. So he likes like kind of like knowing that there are other people around. Kind of because yes, he has abandonment issues. And yeah, Clue comes back looking pretty smiley considering the day and fairly drunk. So when it comes to tomorrow, what do you guys think after you're guarding the shit shovelers? Do you have an idea what you might want to do with your day?
I mean, a lot of options, don't we?
This will help me prepare for the next session. This is why I'm asking you. I can't have you guys decide at the start of next session what you're going to do, because then I have to prepare 5 different options. So that's just way too many.
I mean, we have a decent amount of stuff to do in the Dark Ward between finding information on place for Dabby and that one lantern store, that one shady lantern store that Talva walked into.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, we've got somewhere safe for Dabby until we defeat the dragon, which is presumably going to take us a while.
Yeah, you guys aren't. Yeah, I can say that you're going to have to leave Waterdeep to have a chance to track down the dragon. And at the moment, like most of your stuff is really caught up in Waterdeep, for sure. But if you were to find her someplace that wasn't, that's an alternative hiding, a more permanent location than a barn for her.
Fair enough.
So, guess if you guys are okay with the list, that we then check out the lantern store, and in the meantime, also check for rumors about the alcove that one dragon was in for a while.
That sounds like a good idea.
Okay. And anything? So, all right. Okay. And in case that takes you to 5 o'clock, is there anything else that you want to get done by on your list of things to do tomorrow? I know that because your items are gonna expire at midnight, and then on the next evening, well, the next morning, it's 3 days in a row on the dung handler's job. And then, so today's the 13th. Tomorrow is the 14th for your first day on the job. Then the 15th would be your second day on the job. And also, Thelvar's got theater tickets for the 15th. Yep. And then there's the option where we could role play if you wanted to go to do the interview on the Speaking with the Dead. Or if you wanted to go to do any lead on the Gond as well, the Church of Gond. So okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay, all right.
We probably should do the Speak with the Dead sooner than later.
Yeah.
That ties in with what Clue's doing with gathering information in the dock board.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. All right. We've been going for 4 hours. Have we?
3 hours.
No.
3 hours.
3.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, I can't do math. My clock says 22, and I have to subtract it from 19, and that's hard for me. That's yeah, the Europeans use like military time. That seems like a good place to leave it. You guys have a lot. You did a lot again, and you have like a lot to like reflect on and process, I think. So yeah, I think we'll just leave it there. And the real big question: if you guys are gonna get in trouble with the cops for lying to the cops and withholding evidence, we'll see.
Bring it.
We'll see if that comes up again.
Mars
get ready.
What lie? We told them everything.
Exactly. And it's not
Some
like
people lied.
it's not like Mara wasn't going to start a fight with them in anyway.
Well, they do not tell you in the they don't tell you in the game manual, like remind the characters that if they lie to the cops, it is punishable by a 10-day of hard work. But I was like, I'm just going to give them every chance. I'm just going to make sure they know. And I was very specific. That's fine. That's fine. At the moment, they have you're in the clear. So we'll see. It gives me an interesting plot point. Who knows when it might come up again? Thank you. Oh, it's a little like
I mean, Mara got a critical success on convincing the kid not to say anything. So
that's true. But
You're
he wasn't
fine.
the only
You're
one
fine.
who was in the room and saw it.
No one else is going to tell on us.
That is also
yeah.
Belvar was sat next to Lady Ravenhorn when it was put into his hands. So
that is true. Yeah.
I pay attention to this shit.
Like I said, Himara is fine.
Yeah.
She was not paying attention.
She
did
honestly
not care
doesn't
about
know.
this she honestly does not know. She does not care about this little orphan child. Who is this? What are they doing? I don't care. No, we're done with. No.
Thalvar's back was to her, so she wouldn't have seen what was going on, and it was just
We'll see.
Thalvar didn't say what it was, and it could have been anything.
All right.
Completely unrelated to that.
Anyway, like I said, that's a little DM gem. I'm gonna put that in my pocket. Maybe it'll come out again. Maybe it won't. Who knows? All right. Well, anyway, this was a fun session. I wasn't sure how it was all going to play out with the explosion, but I think it went. I'm really happy with how all this went. I think you guys did a great job, and hopefully you had fun too.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
All right, good. Well then, I think we're gonna leave it off there with the broadcast. So for if R&D stopped by, and thanks Kevin for the Peni. Anyone else who stopped by, we're gonna be back next week. Same time, same bad channel, right? Now that we're all back on the same time zones, especially. So yeah. So until next Sunday, we'll see what happens when our adventurers go searching for a home for Dabby and try to speak with the dead. It's goodbye from me and goodbye from the party. Say goodbye, party.
Bye,
Bye, party.
And we're off air.